It is a civilizational crisis. I've said this before. We are at a place, and you can see it from a mile away, we are at a place where great civilizations start to go and new civilizational models begin to gain steam, and there's a place where those two cross paths, and they simply cannot coexist. We are there right now.
So shout out to Paleocrat.
Oh yeah, follow Paleocrat. He's all over this.
The woman explained how her boyfriend told her that his high-fiber diet means that wiping is completely unnecessary. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing stars. They're worse than the people on the corner talking about the rapture's about to happen. It's an apocalyptic death cult. It's so demonic. I'm starting to think there's some kind of a conspiracy going on around here. Yeah, we are the wolf pack, by the way, guys. I forgot to say that. Ow! It's good to see you. It's good to see you. You guys always get me riled up, wild and zany. It's so eminent. Everything is eminent right now. 12 years, 8 years, we're all doomed. But the great animal uprising of 2020 is happening all around. They're even starting to talk, dude. I've seen movies. They're just at this point pulling diamonds out of their rear end, which would be a fascinating ability, by the way. I heard it's all about the pressure. It's gonna happen, guys. We're gonna push, and we're gonna push hard, because that is what is always done. That is what America does, which is why you can see all that destruction. And what happens, by the way? Cities get burned, windows get smashed, people get pulled out of their cars, individuals have been shot, individuals have been beat bloody on the streets, and then what ends up happening? White supremacy is the big problem in America. What? No! No, no, no! It's over, man. It is over, son. I think they're lying to us. And you know how we know this? Because they buy into everything. They spread fake news like crazy. Is this real, guys? 50-50. There are people out there that have physiques like that. You see them oftentimes in parking garages like valet drivers and stuff. If you want to be an ignoramus and try to do the fisticuffs, hit the road, Jack and Jacqueline and Karen. Oh, you're not based, dude. You're based in Pato land, as in like located. Let's look him up on Google real quick. Oh, he's on 666 Pato Street. We're just gonna have fun. There's no serious stuff going on here. Oh, they're mukbang spiders. Why? Oh, holy crap. No. No, no, no. Do not flaunt that. That is not something to be proud of. There's been a big price tag for the sins that we've committed as a nation. And we've committed some of the most grotesque sins in the history of the world. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's this dude. He's kind of a beta cock, Play-Doh rolling, bubble blowing kind of guy. He says, you better take off that effing shirt, because it offends women. What an ignorant way of looking at the world. You're going to be tossed to and fro by every whim and fancy of a culture that hates you. This dude thinks it's offensive to women that I don't walk around with my shirt off. It's easy to say how great we are, and I believe that we're truly great. On the other hand, we got Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They have no connection with the past, other than to simply remind the past always how much they hate it, and to dance on the graves of the democracy dead. The rabbits are now dressing up as Nicolas Cage. Plastic surgery, I bet, probably from that stinking cat. And you're like, you don't do plastic surgery. And he says, look at the plastic surgery I did for the rabbit. We need to repent. We need to take a knee for Jesus.
Paleocrat's using that argument again! Come on, son! That's good, wholesome American stuff.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Asked me if I should overcome, what for? train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions, unchained, no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
We may have an issue here, guys. Can you hear it? Can you guys hear me? Or can you not hear me? Yeah, because my wife says she cannot hear a single thing. And I need to know. I need to know, otherwise I am talking into nothing. So I'm going to need to know exactly what's going on. Why can't anybody hear that? Sound is bueno. Okay, yeah, sound is good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, Ailey is killing me over here. She comes down. Ailey. Oh, man. Yeah, so Ailey comes down. And she's like, can't hear it. Got it up to 38. Cranked up loud. Loving every second of it. Except, I can't hear it. It's unbelievable. You're fired, Ailey. You're done. Okay, yeah. She can't hear it on the TV. She can't hear it on the TV. Could you guys hear the intro, by the way? Could you hear the intro music? Was that something you were able to do? I surely hope so. I would really, and dude, there's no way I can fire her. I wouldn't dare, man. I wouldn't dare. Even when she let me down yesterday, she let me down. We shared a story, and in fact, I was wrong about the story. It was about the rampant rabbit. It was terribly inappropriate. It was very, very, very inappropriate. Yeah, super inappropriate. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, how? We need to let go. I hate letting people go. I hate having to fire somebody from the staff, especially because the staff, they're all like my family and stuff. They're my 3-month-old son and my 2-year-old son and my wife. So I would hate to have to fire any of them. And I said, but I need to know who sent this really inappropriate article. I'm firing that person stat. And I was upset. I was upset because she never gave it to me. And I found out later why. It's still upsetting. I still would have fired this person, but apparently it was me. Apparently it was me. Oh, man, what? Oh, sometimes you read the headline of a story and you think, oh, man, that sounds great. Talking about a rampant rabbit. That sounds like the kind of thing that would be good for the animal uprising stories. And then you find out, oh, that's a certain kind of animal uprising. That's a something. Very inappropriate, man. Very, very, very inappropriate. Well, look, guys. Good morning. It is Wednesday morning, December 2nd, 2020. And we've got a really great show for you. We started late again. That's actually, there's been a lot of things that have happened over the last 24 hours. And I said yesterday, actually, I've said the last couple days that I was going to post something at the website, and I have not. In part because I actually need some help with this. Not the post. I know how to do that, but I've had some people who have complained, and in fact, they've sent screenshots to show me the issue here. But the website for some people on their devices is really jumbled. And for one friend of mine out in California, it's so jumbled up that it actually, there's like an image over top of the button to become a member. So you wouldn't even be able to become a member at all. Like, that option is gone. So he wanted to become a member. And he said, he took a screenshot and he showed me. He said, this is what is on my screen right now. And so I don't know, I'm not tech savvy in that sense. And so if there's anybody out there that knows Wix and is familiar with Wix or website creation, I'd love to talk to you. I've got some people I'm going to reach out to. And we're going to have to figure that out. Because ultimately, if we have to do some website construction, we got to do it. And it was that, and there were some other things, too. There were some other things to do with some coalitions that I'm part of, some craziness going on, and trying to deal with that. And then, of course, dealing with family when they come home. So there was just simply no way yesterday that I was going to be able to share that. Because I wanted to share a post having to do with books that have played a big influence in my life, particularly with my views expressed on this show. And that was going to be fiction and nonfiction, or maybe vice versa, nonfiction and fiction books. Okay, things because I've been influenced by fiction books as well. Sometimes fiction is more accurate, right, than nonfiction. Sometimes we can see that, and so I was going to share that, and I didn't, and I want to apologize to you guys for that. But I wanted to also explain. I'm not just being a lazy lardo. Although I did do something yesterday. There was a bunch of fun, and it was really good. I said I was going to. I'm sick and tired of being the fat slob, man. I'm sick and tired of it. And waging this jihad on fat. And I said, I got to do it. I got to lift the weights. I've got to do my exercising. I got to get pumped up. Yesterday, I lifted a bunch of weights here at the house, in the old gymnasium at the castle. And man, my arms and chest are burning. It is on fire, man. It is on fire. It is burning right now. Oh, man, yeah. And James says, make the website minimalist as possible. And by the way, just so that nobody gets confused about that, let's just go over right now. And let's just transition over there. Boink. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we've got, here's the website. Now, the website is, even for this, it is very, yeah, okay, you don't want to do that. Yeah, so the size of it, something's wrong, because even on this, like all the other sites that I use, you can see, like, for example, I don't want to, let's see, let's do this one. Okay, so you can see this is what an ordinary site would look like. If I wanted to zoom in on it, it fills up the screen and looks like that. You go to my site, on the other hand, that's what it looks like. And if you zoom in, it looks like that. I have to like make the screen very large to fill up my entire screen for it to be this way. It doesn't scale with the if you make the window smaller or larger, it doesn't scale along with it. And so these are things that I just these are things I'm learning, guys. These are things that I'm learning. And I could definitely, if you guys know about that kind of thing and you want to work along with me, just make sure, reach out to me. Reach out to me at the email, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. And if you don't have any issue with it, you can go to the members page, and we've made it pretty easy. See, this page works, though. For me, it does. Now, do you see the piggy bank here? That cute little piggy bank? And over on the other side, you got that hand with the money in it. It's got a little arrow saying, we're going up, up, and beyond. Up, and away, guys. We're upward and onward. Okay, those are the things that go over top the count me in symbol. It looks way different on his device. Now, he has a Windows. Anyway, that's the reason why. But speaking of people in the comments, I mentioned James. All right, here's the deal. We're gonna scroll up here. Okay. So as you can see up at the top, those are different platforms. We got at least only one Periscope today. That's a bummer. We have 6 different Facebook pages. We've got 7, 8, 9, 10 different YouTube channels. We've got a Twitch and a D Live. We got to expand that. We got to make it even more. We've had some issues actually with a couple of them. In fact, the biggest ones we've had a couple issues with, and it's bumming me out, man. Really taking a hit on the view count. So you have to be able, look, guys, if you love the show, and I know you do, make sure to share it with your friends, okay? If you're not sharing it, I'm going to find out, and I'm going to get mad. I'm going to get really mad and say, come on, man. You're supposed to share it, dude. You said you love the show. This person shares it all the time, Bethany. She says, I'm here. Holy withdrawals. Glad to be back. Happy Wednesday. Heart, American flag, super strong arm, Wolfpack. Yes, good to see you too, Bethany. Very, very excited to see you. Let's see here. All right, you got a lot of people supporting me. Let's see. Shirley Jana, morning, honey. Morning to you, sweetheart. Hey, listen. Have you seen yourself, by the way, in the new Wolfpack song? I hope you have. I put you in there. I split up the clip because I have in the beginning where you say, I'm part of the Wolfpack. And then later on where you're, ow, and you're doing that. I split them up in there. So it's kind of divided up throughout the entire clip. It's a lot of fun. And if you would like, by the way, any of the listeners, if you would like to be part of that, if you're part of the Wolfpack and you're raising that glass high or the burger, no matter the corn on the cob, right? Oh man, dude, the corn dog, it doesn't matter. Whatever you've got raised high to the sky, no matter what, unless it's like a salad. And then I don't know if that's cool, man. You're a Wolfpack. Wolfpacks are not eating salad. So you can't be doing that, guys. But if you raise anything other than salad to the sky and you send a video of that or a picture, it doesn't have to be a video. If it's just a picture, you can send it and we will incorporate it into the song that we play in between the happy fun morning show stories and the serious pedal to the metal high octane stories of the second half of the show. So you got to send it to me, and you can do that, Paleocrat Diaries at gmail.com. Let's see here. Need you to PM me your address so I can send you some checks. I'm old school. Look, I'm down with that. I'm so old school, people could technically send me like pairs of shoes or a cow. Like, if they're like, I'm a farmer, I don't like using money for whatever reason. I don't get online very often. Except to watch your show or whatever. And I want to be able to give you something, but I herd cows and stuff, so I'm going to send you one of those. I'm going to send you some of the first fruits. Well, no, second fruits. First fruits go to God. Some of the second fruits, okay? You want to send me a cow? I'll take your cow, man. You want to send me a pair of shoes? You're like, I'm a cobbler. It's what I do. I'm like, dude, send me a pair of those boots. I could use a pair of boots. I'm down, man. I'm down, okay? And so, yes, I'll make sure to connect with you, and that way you can go ahead. You can send us some checks. You wouldn't be the only one. There's some other people that's the way that they prefer to send it that way, and so they just connect with us. All right, let's see. Barbara, share before watching because I know content is well worth a listen. You know what? I'm grateful for you, Barbara. I am grateful for you, and I like how you send me stuff. You send me stuff and let me know kind of what's going on. You share some really cool pictures of Christmas decorations and everything, and it's really cool, stuff to do with your brother, Chris Farley. Like, it's I can't even tell you how cool it is. And I actually watched Beverly Hills Ninja recently. Watched Beverly Hills Ninja, and had to skip over some parts. I knew it, right? There's a part, and it's bikinis, but the setting is not, it's an adult situation, and so I made sure. We got to go over that, but it was hilarious, and we're all laughing, having a blast, just enjoying the humor, and I was in fact outraged to see that movie kind of like Nacho Libre. That you go to IMDb and you got a bunch of crazy loon birds over there giving it 1 star, and I'm like, are you out of your mind? These are classics, some of the best movies ever made, in fact. It's true. Had a good time. So I'm really grateful for you, by the way. Yes, and of course, James, like I said, James and Brian, they said they can hear us. Shirley said she can hear us. Barbara, I'm glad for all of you to say that you are able to tune in and listen. James says, Jeremiah, you're not fat, you're thick. That's what I tell myself. It's like I tell myself, I'm not out of shape. I'm just in a shape that I don't really like looking at. And so it's one of those things. I'm not technically, out of shape. I mean, let's put it that way. I'm not entirely out of shape. I'm just in a shape that I don't necessarily prefer. Yeah, and that's kind of the way that goes. Oh, man. Yeah, James says, oh, you want to give me some money on horseback? Dude, you got to do it. If you hop on that horse and you ride that horse here, man, to give me some loot, dude, you will get a special gift, dude, and a special recognition in your honor for all time for this show. I expect to see it, man. I expect to see it. You better get on that horse and ride off into the distance, because I think I'm a little ways away. We're a little ways away, man. It's going to take you a minute, buddy. It's going to take you a minute. Yeah, John says, it's all about perspective. Talking about the belly fat. I know. Well, but the perspective on mine, starts looking a little Picasso when I jump up and down. And so it's one of those things, dude. It's an abstract piece of art, that's for sure. And so you kind of look at it, maybe a little surreal. I don't know. A little bit crazy. Yeah, and round is a shape, dude. See, that would be great if it was just round. But it looks more like those cow splotches and stuff, the splotches of color on cows. Dude, it's kind of what the shape of my belly looks like. And so, look, you guys can't make excuses for me. Don't make excuses. Otherwise, I'm going to be like looking at the gym over here. I'm going to say, no, lift some weights today, do some high intensity interval, or get on my really nice e-bike that I got, man, that my mom got for me. Say, oh, yeah, I would do that, but everybody has assured me that I'm in a shape. And so I don't think I've got to do it. It's all perspective, man. It's all perspective, guys. Yeah, some people have a six-pack. You have a keg. Yo, Brian, you've got a keg? Yeah, dude. Yeah, buddy. All right, man. I love you guys. So no matter where you are, if you're commenting, if you're checking us out, you're over on Facebook, you're over on YouTube, doesn't matter. You're over on Periscope or Twitch, D-Live. Doesn't matter. Go ahead and comment, and we check in every now and again. We check in. make sure everything's going smoothly. Making sure that everything is going smoothly. Alrighty, on to the business here. And yeah, of course, remember, become a member over at Paleocrat Society. We're going to get the store up because Angela, she's already got some of it. And we're going to begin doing these interviews too, just so you know. I did one yesterday. I tried doing it where it was just a screen capture, and I had some latency, some delay on my voice, and so my mouth would be moving, but I wasn't talking. It was better with her, and I think it's because she wasn't using a mic and an interface. She's just using her phone. Strangely enough, it worked better with that. I'm like, okay, I got to figure something out with that. But it was awesome to do. If you didn't get to see the interviews with Maya Hahn, patriotic Wonder Woman here in Michigan, if you didn't get to see that, she was in Lansing yesterday, and she was our on-the-ground reporter. It was awesome. It was our first time having somebody else on the show like that, and it was a really great time. She called in twice, and there were some major developments. I guess, is Rudy Giuliani going to be on tonight? It's what I've heard. It is what I have heard. I don't know. We'll find more out about that. All right, on to the news. And for clarity, just to let people know, it was somebody I was talking to on Sunday, man. I was talking to somebody after church. We went to mass in the morning. Well, ours is at noon, or 12:30. And so we go, we're at mass, and afterward, I'm talking to a buddy of mine. We're having a really good chat. We're talking about music and guitars and everything else. And he says, man, I love watching your show. I love watching. He said, even my daughter watches. I said, really? Now his daughter, I think she's like maybe 30 years old, maybe something like that. And she was watching it, and I guess he was watching it, and she was there. And after a while, she said, this guy is insane. Like, this guy is crazy. And he goes, yeah, I know. And you're going to keep watching. It was like, no, you got to just take it in, man. You got to take it in. And some people are like, look, man, I hear you, maybe they meet with me. We're at a meeting or something. We're all talking politics and economics and media theory and religion and everything else, making tons of babies to take over the world. Whatever it is, we're having a great time. And it's all kind of serious, It's all kind of serious. So they see me over on Meaning of Catholic, and they're like, oh, this guy's really serious. And then they come over here and they tune in, and they're like, what did I just see? What just happened? And I'm like, you probably saw the first hour, because it's a morning show, man. In fact, I don't know any other show that does this. Maybe it's a terrible stick, but it's one. I'm sticking by it, guys. I am sticking by it, man, because we got to laugh, don't we? We've got to laugh. And the idea that it's like, well, no, you can make, political stories funny all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but it's always a political story. And that's just not my life, man. It's just not my life. So get it out of here. Get it out of here, man. We're gonna postpone that for the second hour. And look, if you really don't like hearing about the all-important news concerning stuff like this, concerning stuff like the Great Animal Uprising, or any of the TikTokers that are trying to, ruin the world for everybody, if you don't like that, you can always just skip ahead. Or just tune in an hour late. Just tune in. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. This show. I'm sabotaging my own folks. I'm like, look, don't watch the show. Don't watch the show. No, in seriousness, man, I admit it's really bipolar. It's super bipolar. But you have to be able to have a good time. And I grew up on serious talk shows all the time, And Rush Limbaugh talks funny stuff and everything. And Hannity sometimes, well, he's not really that funny, though. But he tries to be humorous and stuff, which can in its own charming way be humorous sometimes. Or Glenn Beck can be funny. He used to be actually really funny many years ago. He's kind of lost that ever since he took on the persona of Colonel Sanders and everything and started doing Cheeto face, making fun of Trump. I think he really lost a lot of his edge, And I mean, he just kind of like morphed into Santa Claus. I mean, it's like he was wanting to, try out for that Tim Allen part and say, look, I'm down for Santa Claus 4. So I don't know. I don't know why he did it, but Michael Savage can occasionally be funny. And these are people that I like. I'm talking mainstreamers. I'm talking, big time names and things like that, that I grew up on. And so, I like them, but man, most of the time it was just, very serious and everything. And that's important. That's why we dedicate 2 hours to it. But this right here, what would life be like if we didn't see a video of a baby elephant finding a friend in a dog? And we couldn't watch that. What would our life be like? Well, how would it affect our day if we were deprived of seeing something like this? Because apparently this baby elephant found a friend in a dog. Watch their adorable video. Friends come in all shapes and sizes. By Sonia Jane. Sonia, We love you, Sonia. You're over at Offbeat. We love your material. We love your material. It's true. And it is true. Friends come in a lot of shapes and sizes. Some of them, maybe more aesthetically appealing than others, but I mean, it is true. Oh, man, dude. Oh, okay. So, here's a screen grab. Okay, all right. Yeah, that looks nice. That looks nice. Everyone needs a friend. Okay? Everyone needs a friend. And this baby elephant found one in a dog, and their adorable video is winning hearts online. The old video, so this isn't new. This isn't new, so they're just drumming up old videos all the time. They're like, well, that's fine. You can rehash that. That's fine. The old video shows Yindy, the baby elephant, playing with a dog named Milo. And by the way, have you guys seen Milo and Otis? You remember that movie? I remember that movie, man. I know a lot of youngsters, dude. Yeah, youngsters. I know a lot of youngsters that they don't know about Milo and Otis. And they're like, did you say Lilo and Stitch? And I'm like, no, I did not. It's not even close. Why would you think that? You guys need those like horns that people put in their ears. That's the newest technology for having hearing problems. You need that. I'm like, yeah, Lilo and Stitch. No, dude, Milo and Otis. Milo and Otis, dude. In Thailand's Elephant Nature Park. And it's a perfect dose of wholesomeness to bring in the weekend. By the way, Sonia, I just want to know, how would you know if it's the perfect dose of wholesomeness? And how do you even know for sure that this is, in fact, wholesome? How do you even know? How do you even know? Although it was filmed in 2015, the video is going viral again after being reposted on Twitter by Indian Forest Service officer Suzanta Nanda on Thursday. Yeah, friends come in all shapes and sizes, he wrote. What did you say? Did I say Susanta? Okay, yeah, I guess I didn't. It's a dude's name. I didn't know that. Santa. Okay, Santa. Yeah, dude, I'd like to be called Santa. He wrote while sharing the clip, which shows the playful elephant chasing the dog. According to One Green Planet, the video marks the first time the Yindy, a rescue elephant, met a dog. Instead of hesitating, he began playing with the canine right away. Watch their adorable video below. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. But guys, look, you have to understand, even well-intended people like Sonia Jane, I don't think Sonia Jane is in on the conspiracy. I don't think that she's on the side of the enemies on this. But she might, in fact, be, a little ignorant of it. So we need to analyze this. So get your thinking cap on. Your Pooh Bear thinking cap. You need to get that on, and you need to get your monocle. Okay, so your handy dandy Paleocrat Diaries monocle. You need to get that. Put it on. We are going to analyze this because I have a feeling that this might not, in fact, be wholesome. We're going to determine it right after this. Here we go. Okay, so book. Yeah. Okay, running. Chasing. Okay, first impression, guys, right away is this looks like a military drill. First impression. First thing right out of the gate, I'm like, this is a military drill. Don't you see it? Do you see the strafing back and forth? Do you see it? It's obvious. It's the idea that people cannot see the obvious strafing going on here. Or this is how they're training so that once they do the whole, 007 thing on some skis, that they know that whole slalom deal or a snowboard like I did not know how to do when I was going, I don't know, about a bazillion miles an hour down the hill, which it was one of those things, like they're like, oh, this car goes from, 0 to 60 in this many, half a second or whatever. I was like, a bazillion to 0 in, I don't know, blink of an eye. Blink of an eye, a bazillion miles per hour. An actual number. There was a speedometer. It said it. A bazillion miles an hour to 0. Just blam! Like that. But this is how they learn. This right here, guys. It is how they learn to slalom. And so, you got to sit there and you have to think and go, because it's easy to be wooed. It's easy to be wooed by animals and be like, oh, I'm taken off guard by this. Look at how adorable it is. Look at how wholesome it is. This elephant chasing this dog. Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. One more time. You tell me in the comments. You tell me, is this in fact wholesome Or is this a mega international New World Order plot for the animals? You tell me right here. Watch. Yeah. Yeah. I have a feeling, guys. I have a feeling international plot. That's my verdict, guys. That's my verdict here. What do you guys say about that? What do you say about that? In the comments, by the way, good morning to CF. Dude, good morning to you, man. Good morning to you. And Joe DeLynn, very, very great prayer in there. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but really, that's an excellent prayer. It's actually not, I'm assuming that it's actually for the channel, the prayer channel that you're on. It's talking about the month of December, right? And keeping us under the blood of Christ. Definitely, definitely, definitely. And our loved ones as well. Let's see, in the comments, I love that you're both funny and serious. Makes my day. I try. I keep you guys in mind all the time. You know, I'm like, what would make these people laugh, you know? What am I willing to do? I'm a little bit of the court jester. I'm willing to throw myself into some fire and be like, I'm just going to make you guys laugh. Look at this. You know, kind of dancing around looking like a goon. The village idiot guy having fun. But I hope that it makes your day because, look, I know, in fact, I know that your day is, I know a lot of people who watch the show, their days are tough. You know, they're doing things that they don't necessarily enjoy doing. And they've tried to figure out ways to help that day to go along, to inspire them. And not just to inspire them, but to entertain them, to help time to fly a little bit. And in the meantime, you know, to learn brand new things, you know, whether it's about politics or family or religion or, you know, elephants and dogs learning how to slalom in case they're going to do some kind of secret operation down a hill, you know, skiing. That's the way we have to roll here. That's the way we've got to roll. Let's see. I love the, okay, yeah. Tips the hat. Okay. You know, people saying that Fox News is going left, you know, and so now we watch Newsmax talking about that. All right. Bethany says balance. It's a great bipolar balance. Isn't it a good bipolar balance? It is. These are extremes, man. These are fringes to every direction. You say, man, it's as hardcore as you can get on the politics, and it's as insane as it gets on the funny stuff. Let's see. All right, I'll talk about Barbara stuff later. She has a longer comment in there. I wanted to talk about that, but I'll wait. So, okay, on to the next story. Don't waste your time on your phone. Simply stare blankly into space instead. You know what's funny about this is I think that the person who made the meme is probably ragging on people that believe things like me and saying, oh, you know, boy, all you're going to do is you're going to be bored and you're going to stare blankly into space instead of, you know, and the thing is what they don't realize is, in fact, that's not a waste of time. That's not a waste of time. In fact, that is one of the many thorns that God has given us to spur us on, right? It's one of those things you sit on it and it's blah, and it gets you to do some activity. You know, try being bored for very long in a bed, lay in a bed sometime after you're awake where there's nothing. You're just staring. And then lay in a bed where you've got a phone in your hand. Which one will you lay in a bed in for longer? I mean, if you don't have something to stare at and you don't have something to entertain you and you're scrolling through all that, your butt's going to get out of bed, man. Your butt's going to get right out of bed. And so that's just the way that is. So in fact, boredom, I believe, is a gift from God. I think that it is a gift from God for our species because it actually compels us. We can't deal with it for too long. Our big brains are saying, no, I can't do this. This is really boring. What am I going to go do? And you're going to end up going to do stuff. Oftentimes things that you either have to do or things that you simply want to do that are creative and fun. And so you're going to go do it. In fact, boredom is one of the primary drivers of creativity and progress in our human history. That's just the truth, man. It's just the truth. So you guys, you know what? Be bored a little bit today. In fact, I strongly encourage it. I strongly encourage, and it's one of the reasons why I turn off the phone. You know, I do this show. I'm on for 3 hours every day already. I'm already on for 3 hours a day. And I'm like, okay, look, I don't need that. I don't need that. You know, I can, once it's over, what's the idea? Do I need to be on for, you know, so long every single day? Do I need to do that? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me just shut down some of these things here. See if that helps with the internet connection at all. Because I'm having it again, man. Ailey, I don't understand what's going on. I even have it plugged into the Ethernet. We've had issues with the internet from the beginning, man. And I'm starting to think we need to talk to different providers. It's just the way it is. Because it'll go up to like 3,000 and then it drops down to 1,000. And it was all glitchy yesterday, man, driving me nuts. Children sprout hair all over bodies. What the heck? What? After mistakenly being given hair restorer. Holy cow. Holy cow. What would you guys do, by the way? Oh, oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. This is Lad Bible. Around 20 children who were given a hair restorer instead of medicine to treat an upset tummy. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, parents, what would you guys do? What would you guys do if you went, and how did this happen? Have started growing large hairs all over their bodies. What would you do, man? Is it reversible? These pictures show hair-covered skin of the young children who live in the city, Torrelavega, in the southern Spanish region of Cantabria. I don't know how you'd pronounce it. I don't know how they stress their vowels. Different groups do that weird. Kind of like in America, you would call my son Athanasius. In Greece, would it be Athanasius? Athanasius? Something like that. Local officials admitted that a group of children were mistakenly given minoxidil, a medication for hair growth, instead of omeprazole, a treatment for gastric reflux. Why are so many kids having gastric reflux? And why are we giving them meds for that? What the heck, man? What's going on, guys? I mean, look, there are medical situations. I can imagine. Okay, in fairness. But if they're sitting there and they're eating a bunch of crap food and stuff, and it's like, well, we got gastric reflux, and you're like, well, let's put them on a medication. I'd be like, nah, maybe it's something they're eating. Have you thought about that? I don't know. 2 years after the medical blunder, some of those affected are still growing hairs. Dang, dude. See, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. And the parents are furious, man. Well, of course, dude. You don't want to look like Teen Wolf. I know in the movie the Teen Wolf is like a stud, and Teen Wolf is out there macking with the chicks and stuff, and everybody likes him, and he's totally rocking. But the truth is, the reason why is because it's Michael J. Fox. That's why. But if you're not Michael J. Fox and you're looking like Teen Wolf, it might not go so good for you. I can't imagine. Some people look at him and be like, see that guy over there? I think he came in from the circus. And so you don't want that. You don't want that. By the way, have you guys ever experienced anything like that where they gave you like the wrong medicine? Oh, dang, son, what the heck is this crap? What is this? Is this TikTok? That's looking like TikTok, man. I don't see the little label on it. Where is that, by the way? Does that look like TikTok to you? What is this? Where is this? It says, I went on a short 7-minute walk this morning. It's all I had in me, but I thought, let's get my blood flowing, I saw a TikTok. So I don't see it. This might not even be TikTok. I don't even know. But this dude, this lady, I'm so sorry. I don't know. This person, edit it out, guys. You didn't hear anything. Because I'm supportive, man. I maybe somebody shared this to be rude. I'm not being rude. I'm not trying to be rude. I like that unicorn shirt and stuff. I don't like the Michigan State cap. I could do without that. Maybe it's not Michigan State, but the colors, maybe it's an Eagles thing. Maybe it's Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know. But yeah, it's a 7-minute walk. I saw a TikTok the other day, and it's been sticking with me, and I wanted to pass. You wanted to pass. Look, you did a good job. You did a good job, man. I am sorry. I don't know. I can imagine maybe some dudes even maybe wearing that unicorn shirt. So I'm just throwing it out there. This person is obviously quite rotund. This person obviously is addicted to TikTok, right? Just, it's one of those things. Maybe not addicted. Maybe they're on there trying to find. What if it's a listener? What if it's someone who watches the show and they're going through TikTok and they're the ones sending me all the ridiculous TikTok things? If so, I'm really sorry. And more than that, I am very, very, very supportive of the idea that you're getting off your keister and you're going and you're walking. In fact, I'm going to be inspired by you. I got to do it. I got to do the same thing. And this picture is going to stick with me. I'm telling you, it's going to stick with me, guys. Oh, man. Oh, buddy. Let's see here. Oh, no. Okay, didn't we already talk about that? That the Utah monolith, it was taken away, but they're saying by 4 men in the night, an eyewitness says. Oh, so 4 dudes just roll up in there and they take it. Oh. Look at this, guys. Oh, these people ain't messing around. I'm telling you, it's a cult. It's a cult, dude. Unbelievable. On Friday, 3 friends and myself drove the 6 hours down in the middle of nowhere and got to the trailhead around 7 p.m. Also, somebody's claiming it. Oh, no, right there. Are those the people that took it? Oh, no, they were the witnesses. See, this is a big distraction. Money Down says they're all part of the same cult. It's like I said to my daughter when we were playing that real life kind of murder mystery game. It's kind of inspired by Among Us, the video game. And I said, look, because nobody died. We played it for like 45 minutes. And somebody's supposed to die. And only the person who knows they're supposed to do it, they're the only one who knows. And so she was the person. And she didn't do it. She's like, I didn't know when I should or if I should. She didn't want to get busted. And she didn't know when to do it. I said, you got to wait until maybe somebody is, alone in the kitchen or wherever, away from everybody. You tap them on the shoulder, you make the little noise, and that's when they fall down. They got to be quiet. They can't make a noise. They got to be quiet and lay down. And I said, then very nonchalantly leave and get out of the kitchen. And when you see somebody else go into the kitchen, you're going to have to go in and you're going to have to report that person and call an emergency meeting. I said, that's one technique. It's one technique because then it's a deflection. It's obviously what these guys are doing. In fact, they may have been listening in on our conversation. They're part of some creepy cult. Money Down says it. Although, they're putting their faces out. Well, no, they're not. Well, a couple of them are. The other 2 are definitely not putting their faces out there. They don't want anybody to know. They don't want anybody to know. Says he went on. 4 guys rounded the corner and 2 of them walked forward. They gave a couple of pushes to the monolith and one of them said, you better have got your pictures. He then gave it a big push and it went over, leaning to one side. He yelled back to his other friends that they didn't need the tools. Dude, this is not good, man. This is not good. So, okay, so they've taken the monolith. They've taken the monolith is gone. The monolith is gone here. What's this? Oh, I think that's a serious one. I'm going to skip over that one for now. I'll drop that right up and around. Actually, hold on. Let's go ahead and we're going to put that wafer. We'll put it up there. We'll put it right here. I'm scooching it around. I'm moving. I don't know if you guys can see up at the top. I'm like moving stuff around. I'm like, okay, we're going to move it around, guys. So, what the heck? Mysterious monolith discovered at 2,000-year-old Romanian fort has disappeared. Okay, did we talk about this one? There was another monolith that was found in another area in Romania. This one, too, has disappeared. Guys. Oh, my gosh, dude. Yeah, but this one, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this. What do you guys think about this, by the way? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think's going on? Who stole the monolith? Who stole the monolith, man? We have to get our peeps on it, stat. Like right away. We have a mystery machine. We've got the paleocopter. So there's things we can do. We can send some people out. We'll commission a team to go out and to investigate because, guys, this might actually be really important. The monolith. You don't know what they're using it for. You don't know its magical powers. You don't know how it activates. I've seen enough cartoons. I've seen enough cartoons and I have seen enough crazy movies to understand that those monoliths are not things that you want to just go, it's just a metal monolith. No big deal. Because wherever there's a monolith in a creepy place out in the middle of nowhere, you know there is also a cult that gathers. And that cult normally is made up of very rich people. Although occasionally, like every once in a while, it's not like, kind of like the Eyes Wide Shut cult. Sometimes it's kind of like, trailer park style stuff. I don't mean to bust on people in the trailer park. I know, maybe half this audience lives in trailer parks. So we're not busting on it. But guys, we know. We're kind of making fun of ourselves with this. And saying, yeah, okay, yep, you're right. Some of the boys over there, you go up and you're like, I thought it was going to be something, like with Tom Cruise and stuff. And they all look at you and they've got like, one or two teeth left and they're chawing on some skull. And they're like, nah, man, we made this monolith over here having fun. Okay. All right, guys, yeah. Oh, my gosh. What's this? Here, little duckies, have some bread. There's a lot of you today. Okay, look at this big buff duck. Okay, the time has come. For what, man? For what? Do not fear, stale bread man. You have fed us. You will be spared. What the? Who found this? Who found this? I'm telling you guys, this is either... And look at all the buff ducks now. Look at all of them. They're all... dude, a two-headed duck. A two-headed duck. We've seen two-headed snakes. We've seen two-headed snakes. We know that we have at least one people. That's a weird way of saying it. One two-headed person people, like the ladies who share a body. They have two different heads. I've said that I actually have a great deal of admiration for them. They're teachers, amazing people. But we have instances of this. But this right here, guys, this might be the first sighting of a two-headed duck that I've ever seen. I mean, this is first documentary evidence. Ailey, put that in the files. Stat. You got to do it. And yeah, look, you'll be spared. So in other words, what is this doing? This is the predictive programming. This is the New World Order letting us know. This is the cabal, the secret plotters and schemers of the animal uprising, letting us know that if we feed them, and if we help them in their schemes, and we make sure that they're safe and secure while they're colluding with others, that we will be spared. And I say, no! No, no, no! We will not. We will not, guys. We're outing you buggers, man. You guys are toast. It is over and done. Over and done. Okay, hold on. Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay. What is this? Look, driving, pulling. Okay, okay, I'll do two more. What is this? Okay, we're gonna skip some of them. I did quick. I hope you guys didn't pay too much attention because I didn't either. All right. Huge chunk of whale vomit could make $2.4 million. What? Are you serious? A chunk of whale vomit could make $2.4 million for a Thai fisherman? Wow. Oh, that's okay. That's pretty gross, dude. That's pretty gross. Is that like, petrified at this point? Like, what the heck, man? He's set to earn this after discovering a huge blob. Oh, so it's a blob. It's a blob. Who wrote this, man? Who wrote this? Oh, Tom Wood. Of course you did, Tom. Of course you wrote this, man. I like your stuff, by the way, Tom. You're good, dude. You're good in my book. But, dude, using huge blob. Oh, I have to do the okay, hold on. They're making me pause the ads on the site. They're making me pause the ads so that we can watch a video. So that we can watch it. Okay, I gotcha. Oh. Yeah, so loading ad. But see, here's the thing. They want you to be able to watch this ad. I don't think so, man. Isn't it a YouTube video? Oh, no. Isn't it a YouTube video? If it's a YouTube video, we're going to scooch ahead, man. I'm so sorry to tell you. No, it's not. It's embedded. It's embedded. I'm going to have to let this bugger load here. We're just going to scroll up and get that out of the way. Yes, the whale vomit is incredibly valuable because it's used to make luxury perfumes. What? What? Are you guys serious? So like, so when a lady is wearing some luxurious perfume and walks by, and a brother man is all like, "Oh, yeah, it smells so good." The truth is, they would feel the same way with whale vomit. Oh, dude, this guy, you know what? I mean, maybe he could just, break up little chunks of it and sell it as incense. Like, is that what he's saying? Is that what they're saying? And this is apparently the biggest blob ever found. That's why it's so valuable to the one man. Yeah. Oh, but okay, yeah, all right, yeah. So it's still going with this advert. I don't want that advert. Get that advert out of here. So where's the video? Aha, okay, here we go. Here we go. What is he, freebasing this thing? He's lighting it up. He's doing a little bit of torch on it to show how solid it is, I guess. Wow, dude. Now, does it melt a little bit when you put that on there, I wonder? Oh, let me go ahead and take the... Oh, I'm not even hearing anything at all with that. What's going on with that? Monitor off. Okay, let me... This makes no sense. Look at that. See, okay, so this dude's making lots and lots and lots of loot. That's really gross. Unbelievable. I didn't realize this. But I'll tell you, it's one of those things that's like, all right, it's kind of like vanilla, the flavor of vanilla. We learned that the flavor for vanilla, in some cases, right, if you want to go natural flavor, with this, it comes from a gland, right near the gooch that you rub and stuff. What is it, a beaver? What was it? Was it a beaver? Didn't I think it was a beaver before and somebody told me it wasn't? A gopher? I think it was a gopher. And they're, a groundhog. It's a groundhog. And they're rubbing the gooch. I don't know who first learned of this. And not only who first learned of this, but who, after having done that, thought, oh, that gooey brown substance, let's take a lick. But whoever did that, whoever was the brave soul to do that, has played a very important role in the history of vanilla. And so we know that, and yet we still do it. It's like, I know that snakes can go up toilets, and yet here I am still going to the bathroom. So there are things that can scare us or gross us out. And in this case, I'm like, well, if perfume has, some whale puke in it, that's okay. It's okay because, man, I love the smell of some ladies wearing perfume. I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie. I love it. I love it. Did I ever even say the story about the pheromones? Did I ever say that? Did I ever tell you guys that? If not, I'll share it, but I'll have to do it by tomorrow. What I'll do is because I talked about it on Paleo Cheese. And so I'll take the video, I'll pull it out, and that way you guys can go ahead and see it. It'll be a whole bunch of fun. And you can hear how I learned about it, because it was gross. It was kind of, a very embarrassing way that I learned about pheromones. Very embarrassing. It involves eating stuff that I'm intolerant of. I'm lactose intolerant. And it was kind of eating, a lot of pizza over at a person's house that I'd never met before, ever. And had to use the bathroom very urgently. It's kind of the placement of it. It's a crazy story. But I learned a valuable lesson about pheromones. And it changed my life forever. But as I said, I'm a big fan of cologne. I love cologne. I try to always have at least a couple different kinds of cologne. And I always have kind of a staple. And that's based on my wife and her preference. And she loves, her favorite of all time is Obsession. And she always tells me to get it. And I always say, oh, you want me to try other kinds? What do you want me to do? And no. She loves it. And so I make sure to wear Obsession, although I'm the kind of guy, I want to go out and venture out and try all different kinds. I used to like Fahrenheit. And of course, Polo. But I like the spicier kinds. I like colognes like I like my cigars. And like I like my ladies, like I like my wife, a little spicy. And so, kind of the way that is, man. And so, that's the way I like. That's the way I like. For my own cologne and stuff. But then again, I may not have the best kind of style and idea when it comes to that, because I was the guy still wearing Brute in like 2007. It's a true story. True story, actually. All right. No. Okay, someone sent this. All right. That's how you guys feel. I'm really grateful. I am really, really grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the love, you guys. It's true. Not going to lie. Super, super dupe grateful for that. Because I feel that way. You guys are really good at actually making me feel loved. Every day, showing up, talking in the comments. And in fact, we're going to talk about those things right now. Oh, no, I won't be able to do it that way. I will not be able to do it that way. That's a bad idea. Well, I should still... Oh, and I just ruined that. Oh, boy. Okay, we're going to go back. What the heck? Driver pulled over for using folding lawn chair. Real quick, I'm sorry. I'm not going to talk about this, but we got it. Dude, are you serious? Are you serious? He's pulled over. And how would anybody know? How would the cop even know that he's using a lawn chair for that? And why is that a problem, really? I guess if it's not bolted in or anything or welded, I mean, I guess, yeah, I can see that being a little bit problematic. I can see it, man. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Chad. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one up. But I'm going to drop this bugger up right now, and let's see if we can get this thing up here. Oh, won't be able to do that. Hold on. Yeah, don't want to mess that up here. Don't want to mess that up. Let's see. Yeah, because you got to do some stuff on the fly. There's some stuff on the fly that you simply got to do. And when you shut down a chat window, what ends up happening is that when you open up another chat window later, you can't see where you left off. So it kind of bums me out. Let's see here. Okay. So, all right, Barbara says, I had clips for a speech I was given to friend's fifth grade class DARE program. Teaching kids about drugs and alcohol. I've been through DARE. I went through another one, too. And it was one of those, you had this lady come in, and she's like, I don't know, I think she was probably 60 years old, 65 years old. Real sweet. Kind of a pumpkin pie bacon granny. Wearing a lot of the kind of sweaters, that grandkids made, maybe even with her and this is, my grandma had a perfect example of this. She had a sweatshirt that had a family tree, and it had these little apples that were like, actually, I don't know if they were wooden or what they were, but they had little names of all the kids, because she had just a huge number of kids. And so she'd walk around, you have all these apples all over the place. That's super adorable, right? But maybe something you should only wear inside the house on a holiday. I love my grandma. And I'm glad I was on there. I was one of the first. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know about that. I saw a guy at church, actually, just on Sunday. A guy at church, he was wearing a Santa Claus, and it actually looked like Tim Allen Santa Claus. He was wearing a Santa Claus sweatshirt. He's in the back, and I'm like, it's like borderline inappropriate. It's borderline, but at the same time, I thought that's also, it's a seasonal thing. It wasn't like overly festive, anything like that. It wasn't like, a Santa Claus, like the principal dressing up like Santa Claus from Saved by the Bell or something, See, okay, so you had clips, but anyway, so the woman, I got distracted by Santa. So this lady comes in and she's talking to the high schoolers about drugs, because, we got in some trouble. The principal brought us in, and he's like, hey, I heard you guys are smoking some, marijuana cigarettes. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, what? And I was the worst stoner in the class. I mean, and me and one other guy, but everybody else, it was like 5 guys, and everybody kind of admitted to what they had done. And then it came to me, and he brought me in, and me and one other guy, and he admitted fully. He's like, yeah, I used to do that. I used to smoke cigarettes, and we went to Christian school and stuff. He's like, you used to smoke cigarettes, but I've gotten away from it. I'm working now at ministry stuff with my dad. And, the principal's all happy. He looks at me, and I'm just stoned out of my gourd. And he's like, and you? And I'm like, I've never smoked weed or smoked cigarettes in my entire life. My buddy's like, what? Like, of all the people, I totally lied. So, but anyway, nobody believed me. And they said, well, you got to go. You and these other guys, you got to go to this drug class where they're going to teach you guys about drugs. And this lady, man, she wasn't getting it. She wasn't getting that, like, certain answers were making it more appealing. Like, she was talking about LSD. and saying that LSD, that you can see sound and hear color. And I just full stop. I'm like, are you serious? Like, this is something you can do? She's like, yes, many people have reported, hallucinations where they're, they're hearing color and seeing sound. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. And she's like, oh no. Like, what did I just do? What did I just do? So yeah, so Dare. Preparing them for how to say no. My friend's son was in the class. It was at the Waukesha Catholic High School. First clip. Chris hauled out the F-bomb. Oh, no. My video clips that I had cued to match my speech, the principal, a nun, vetoed my video clips ASAP. Oh, my gosh. Hilarious. I was so embarrassed. My friend, and by the way, her brother's Chris Farley. So it's not just any Chris, some random guy up there dropping an F-bomb. No. Chris Farley, right? The comedian. By the way, rest in peace, man. I love that. I do, man. That guy had a big influence on me, by the way. I'm not even lying about that. I'm serious. He had a huge influence on me. I really cared about him. And when he died, I was so heartbroken that he died. I really was, because I'd gone through some crazy stuff in my life. And I had gone through some really, really dark times. And a lot of things to do with drugs, too. And everything, and religion, and finding myself lamenting where I was in my life, and sometimes, being somebody in private, like I'd be the guy doing drugs and everything, crazy drugs that would still, people would get in conversations about God, and there was something inside of me that still felt compelled to defend it and to talk about it, and not just to argue, but it was something that actually hit me. That's why I defend creasters and people who may not be very faithful in church and stuff, but there's still something there that, when people bring it up and they diss God, that's something, they may not be living the best life. They may not be very devout. They should be much better than they are, but there's something deep inside of them that when it comes to that topic, if somebody comes and they knock God like that they're going to stand up. They're going to stand up. And so, I went through that time in my life. And when he died, like, I cried, man. I'm serious about that. I mean, it was so, not many people could make me laugh back then. Let's put it that way. Not many people can make me laugh. That I could look at that person and watch and know that person is just hilarious. And that the humor and stuff came out of their heart, and maybe a heart that had its own issues too. Just like me. But Barbara, his sister, who watches the show, by the way, every day. I love it. I was so embarrassed. My friend's brother, his wife, and their son's class were all present. The F-bomb right out of the gate. Yikes. I overlooked it wearing my rose-colored glasses. My mom and friends were mortified. Oopsie daisy. It was funny. 10-year-olds laughed. I'm naughty. Once my clips were banned, I asked the kids, how many of you have already seen PG-13 movies? Majority of the hands were raised. I said, well, my clips are banned. Just hear my speech and keep clips in mind. You got to share that speech with me. Or if you don't have it anymore, you've got to make a new one. You've got to record yourself doing it, and you got to say, I'll play it right here on the show. I'll play it right here on the show. Oh, man. You're talking about, Beverly Hills Ninja, one of my 13-year-old's favorite movies. Is that true? Is that about Beverly Hills Ninja or Nacho Libre? Because I mentioned both of those earlier. Let's see here. I'm not entirely sure, man, and that's the problem of not looking in real time. Seeing some comments that had to do with the past. CF says, I must be a pessimist, but this looks like it might not end well. What, the show? What are you talking about, man? And there's my mom, man. She's all huggy and smiling. She's going to be here, tomorrow? She's going to be here tomorrow, and we're going to be working on some stuff, guys. I think by next week, we may have ourselves an entirely new backdrop on the show. An entirely new one. And I'm hoping that we're going to be able to clean up this basement a little bit. Because it's looked like, a lot of people lived here and didn't really take care of some things. So we're going to work on it, man. We're going to work on that. Let's see here. What is it that everybody says they can see that it's not looking like it's going to go very good? What was it? What was it, man? We're going back. I got to see. It can't be the baby elephant. It can't be the baby elephant. The hair? What is it? What is it? What do you guys all say? No, this is not going to turn out good. This is turning out bad. The duck? The puke? What is it, man? Oh, it's the elephant. Okay, I expected the elephant. Okay, you guys were all expecting the elephant. That's what you guys were watching. No, man, it's a military drill. You know what's not going to turn out good and what's going to end up being very, very bad is the fact that the majority of the planet has overlooked the military scheming. This kind of security state operation scheming that's been going on with the animals for a long time now, under the guise of really cute and hilarious viral videos and TikToks. Don't blame me. We need to have those stickers like people who say, don't blame me, I voted. Those kind of things, right? We need ones, don't blame me, I talked about the Great Animal Uprising. I supported Paleo Radio. Paleocrat Diaries. A lot of people who were on Paleo Radio and used to listen to that. And I've thought about actually going back to that name, by the way. I've thought about it. Making Paleocrat Diaries, making that the actual website alone. But yeah, talking about the exposing it, because I think that first began, actually. And it first began the inklings of that. Go back quite a ways. People who followed my work for a long time. These people know. These people know. Right here. It's good to be bored sometime and let your imagination run. Better than scrolling Instagram and liking pictures of scandalous women. A shout out to the Pope. Oh no. Have they determined who that was yet? Did they throw somebody under the bus on the media team? I'm serious. And yes, by the way, Deja, it's the same internet issue. And we even have a new, and I don't know if it's still glitching, asking if it's permanent. I don't know. It's the thing is that there's days where it doesn't happen and there's days where it does. And we've gone and we bought a brand new 5G thing, so it might be just the internet around our home. I mean, I don't know. We want to move it so that the ether cable is not going through an extension, but actually going straight into the cable that run through the wires outside. And so that may help, but that's going to require a move of office because we don't have that down here. You say that it looks like a Facebook or an Instagram story. Yeah, look, it might be. Let's see. Yeah, Brian brings up the idea that one of those monoliths popped up in Romania. Dude, that's what I'm saying. And not only did one pop up, but it was removed, dude. It was removed. And I don't think it popped up. I think it's that people found it. We don't know how it got there. And as it stands right now, we don't even know how it was removed or where it was or who took it. I have a feeling, man. I know. We'll talk about it, man. We'll talk about it later. It's gonna be really good. We need to do like a documentary styled, investigative styled feature on that. Let's see. Oh, some people think that it's a marketing scheme. For what? For what? What group is gonna do that? I don't know. I mean, it would make sense, if somehow it played into it, or I don't know. What would that be? What would that be? Yeah, is it a coincidence that both of them were found, right after they go viral and people talk about it? It plays into the idea that maybe it's a scheme, a marketing scheme, but who would benefit, man? That's the age-old question, dude. Who would benefit? People are beginning to think Chernobyl site isn't really deserted, talking about maybe the ducks. Dude, it's true. It's true, man. They're getting wicked bad, dude. They're getting wicked bad. It's no good. Somebody said, I don't buy the fake vanilla story. I've seen the beans, and they're not on the gooch end and no end of no beaver. Oh, you don't buy the fake story. Dude, it was a person. It was a National Geographic thing. Didn't National Geographic do that? Didn't they have that special on, rubbing the area by, and it's not on the gooch end of no beaver. Dude, it is. It is, dude. It's right on that end, man. You know where it comes out of. They don't have a special gland sac hole other than, where it goes. How would you distinguish either? Maybe it was eating something that was, didn't settle right. And you're like, did you get it? Well, yeah, I saw some gooey brown stuff come out of there. And be like, yeah, it's not. How do you know it's that gooey brown stuff? How do you know that that gland is being rubbed effectually? Like, what's going on with that? Bethany and Adam have a community cologne. What do you mean a community cologne? What do you mean by that? What does that mean? Community cologne. Do you share it? Hey guys, do you ever wear any of your, is there any perfume that your lady has had that has been one that smells good on you and people compliment you on? I have. I've had some, man. It was, Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret has had a couple of them. Had a couple different perfumes, man, that I ran out of perfume or whatever. I might be smelling a little bit danky. I forgot the patchouli at home. And I'm like, I better hurry up and spray some of this, under the old armpits or something, And you spray and you're like, do you have anything? And you say, well, I got this. It rocks. And I'm like, okay. Spray it down. And I walk around doing like tons of people are like, man, that really smells great. And, it's the ladies. That's the other thing. The ladies are like, ooh, man, that smells really good. And the comments here, you use some essential oils too. Yeah, I use essential oils. I was wearing, what's the Christmas one we just got from Young Living? I got that. I like Exodus, what was it, Exodus 2? What is it, man? The Exodus one. I like that one as well. Let's see here. Aqua Digio by Armani is mine and my wife's favorite cologne. Yeah, man, Armani, I like Armani, man. I like it. People are asking what kind of articles am I looking for to review. We talk the first half of the show, and we're at the end of it now, okay? We actually went over a little bit. So the first half of the show is a morning show, and we talk about funny stories. So whether it's viral videos, or just goofy videos like the meme of the ducks and stuff like that. And we emphasize a lot to do with animals. So we like watching the animal stuff, reading animal stories. And so if you've got any animal story that's cute and cuddly, or that you think is cute and cuddly, but in fact is not cute or cuddly, make sure to send it to us. We'll definitely talk about it. We will definitely talk about that. Yeah, a lot of people saying rest in peace to Chris Farley. Definitely. You're in the basement now. Thought you were in the penthouse. Look, man, for right now, I'm in the basement. For right now, I'm in the basement because there's construction going on in the castle. And this is the man cave. And by man cave, I mean the cave that we are thrown in when we're in trouble. So I've kind of tried to spruce it up a little bit, but we have another studio. I've actually got that. I have three. We've got 3 rooms that have been used as studios within the castle here, right? A castle Team Tiny Dancer. And so we have one up in the very top of the tower. And we used to use that back in the days of Paleo Radio. That was what we did. And then I've used, when I first began making videos, we were in the quiet room, which is probably where we're going to go again. That's probably where we're going to end up. And then down here is going to be turned into an entertainment room. And so we're going to have a lot of electronics and things that are kind of in the basement. We're going to do some finishing touches on the floor and everything else. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But yes, as of right now, I'm in Mama's basement. Mama Bear, I'm talking about. Yeah, Papa loves Mama. Ah, boy. Ah, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Let's see here. Raising salad isn't coral. It's not coral. It's not cool. You're right. You're right, Lurgerts. Raising salad. You can't do that. You can't do that. And so, yeah, is that a SpongeBob reference? Yes, it is a SpongeBob reference. Yeah, because salad is not cool, by the way. It is not. People eat that because they're trying to lose weight. And that's it. And I'm like, if you really want to lose weight, you should eat ridiculous amounts of meat and lard. It's true, though. It's true. Although I got a boy, who was it on here was talking about their ice cream diet. What the heck was that? You love, Lurk likes patchouli much to Jeremiah's chagrin. Dude, what are you talking about? I'm the one who always brings it up, man. Whenever I see you, I'm like, dude, you're wearing patchouli, Holmes. My wife, much to my wife's chagrin. Dude, I love it, dude. I love it, man. I would wear it. I'd wear it more often. In fact, in the comments or in the video for Paleo Cheese, where we're talking about pheromones and stuff and cologne, that I'll share that clip tomorrow. But the thing is that it came up about patchouli. And my buddy is saying that, I'd go to over to their house. Chad's saying I'd go over to their house and I just smelled like I put on, a gallon of that stuff all the time. I did it. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Beard oil and balm smells amazing too, but does it only smell amazing to you? Or does it really smell amazing to others, And have you ever had a compliment where they're like, dude, you smell really, really great. It smells like cologne. What cologne is that? And you're like, it's not. It's beard oil. I don't know, man. Yeah, the whole house is the man cave. It is, dude. It is, man. The entire house, man. We've taken it over. We've taken it over, man. Oh, I always sound disappointed. What, you're wearing patchouli? No way. No way, dude. That's fake news. That dude is some serious fake news, dude. All right. Before we move on. Oh yeah, Before we get moving, we got to get cranking. I'm already late. Playing. But before we do anything, no, don't want to do that. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? I'm playing these videos. So okay, we are going to go here. I'm going to go to the main. I'm going to turn that off. Let's go to the main. All right. And then we're going to make sure in the circle here, we're going to play this video. We are going to play the video. So every single day, I've been playing a video. And it is a promo for my kids' school. My kids go to Sacred Heart Academy. And I play this video every single day. Number one, it's a good transitional video, right? That I'm able to go from the funny to the more serious, to do the Wolfpack song afterward and to be all excited about it and stuff. But also because at the core of this mission is the idea that I'm thinking long-term. I'm thinking transgenerational. The idea covenantally minded. That everything that I do has an impact, not just on the here and now, but on what which will one day be considered the past, but also on what one day, even after I'm long gone, will be considered the present. And that's an effort. And to say, and it's not just ideas. I mean, I don't believe that people are going to go back and go and watch all of the episodes and say, oh man, yes, look, and here's the guy that did it. No way, man. No way. I'm totally realistic about this. But within the relative nature of size and scale and what's relevant to me and my family and the contributions that we make to this large project that we found ourselves part of. We didn't ask to be part of. We didn't ask to be born. But we were born. And we were born into a world that has many different obligations. We are compelled, in fact, to wake up, unless we're dead or in a coma. We try to get around it. We're inevitable waker-uppers. You can only do that so long, and then you will only be the vast majority by their actions in their lives. It demonstrates that, by and large, most people, for whatever reason, feel compelled to once again get up and move around, to think, to say, and to do things. And you're part of that. I'm part of that. And because that is something that we were born into, that we entered into, and that these rules are placed upon us, and these expectations and obligations, and you can tell because if we don't live up to them, if we don't live up to certain things, the world will be much worse. And not just right now, but in the future for our children. And the mere fact that we reproduce and that we are the products of reproduction shows the transgenerational dynamic of existence. And so what role do we play? A huge one. A huge one. And it's so huge, in fact, that it's easy sometimes to downplay the significance of it by looking at what we do as being mundane. In fact, it's one of the things that I think is quite profound about reality is that we can wake up and think that anything's actually boring. Imagine that for a second. We didn't make the world. Think of the complexity of every single day. Think of the complexity of what you're looking at right now. The complexity of the fact that you are here, that you are looking, that you are thinking or listening to someone else. And that I'm doing it too. And so are others. In fact, billions of others around the world right now. It's remarkable. In fact, it's supernatural. It's a powerful thing. It's miraculous. And yet we look at it and we're able to be like, today is boring. Really? Really? What an amazing thing. And we do that to ourselves. And we think, oh, what use am I? What do I have to contribute? You know? What do I have to contribute to any of this? You know, I'm just a normal person. I'm not anything special. My job is, you know, I'm low down on the totem pole. I'm not very special. My vote doesn't matter. I'm not attractive. I have nothing that's worthwhile. No gifts and talents. How many of you have thought that sort of thing? And in fact, how many of you thought anything like that today? Because here's the thing. I want you to stop. I want you to stop. I want you to stop because I want you to be fully accepting of the reality that this is the day that the Lord has made. That we have a bazillion reasons to rejoice and to be glad in it. That you've been beautifully and wonderfully made. Just like the day. In fact, your existence here it ought to be sunshine to people all around you. Rays of warmth. Whether the rays of compassion or the rays of super hardcore passion. That you're outraged and you're like, I'm going to take this on. But that no matter what, that it's productive. That it's righteous and good. And that you're not just some Debbie Downer or Danny Downer. But you're somebody who says, look, I've been made for a reason. I have gifts and talents. I may be your average Joe. You know, what do we call them here, man? Johnny Q and Sally Sue, the flyover country folks. The people that everyone forgot. And if they ever do remember us, they make fun of us and they mock us and malign us. That's what this is. It's who we are. But you want to know what? You want to know what? That's how God made us. That's how God made us. It's who we are. And we're part of this amazing story. We're part of this amazing history with this amazing species on an amazing planet in an amazing universe with a very mind-blowingly amazing God. And so we have to rejoice and we have to resolve, and we do this on the show. We grab our coffee or our tea or our wine or booze or slurm or, water, because some of the ladies like drinking the water. They don't realize that other stuff has water in it too. You want your water? Why not drink some slurm? It's in the ingredients. But we raise these glasses high. We're willing to make holy fools out of ourselves. We're willing to say, no matter where you are you at work right now? Where are you watching the show? What are you doing right now? Are you at work? Are you outside? Are you walking around? You walking dogs? Are you a nanny? What are you doing? You a housewife with a bunch of kids? You taking care of something right now? Are you outside working lawn care? What are you doing right now? Are you a farmer? No matter what you are, no matter where, are you in a cubicle? No matter where, it doesn't matter. Resolve in your heart today that you're going to rejoice, that you'll never give up, that you'll keep on smiling, and that you will remember that while this is a day the Lord has made, it may in fact be the last one you enjoy on this side of the grave. And so you resolve to say, I'm going to do my best. I'll be the best farmer in the world. I'll be the best farmer I can be. I'm going to be the best guy in a cubicle pushing a bunch of dumb papers that I can possibly be. I'm going to be the best nanny. I'll be the best person at a checkout lane. It doesn't matter. The best janitor. It doesn't matter. You're going to give it your absolute best today because you are important. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions matter. And not just to you, but to people around you, and not just in the present, but in the future. And we're in this together because we're a wolf pack. And that's the way this works. So raise that glass high. Get it right now. Get it right now. I'm filling it up because, man, I'm going to straight to the dome this bugger. We're high octane. We got a lot to talk about today, too. So you're going to raise this glass high. We got the Wolfpack song coming. And right after, well, okay, hold on. While you're getting your glass, while you're getting it ready, I want to show this video. It's going to give us about a minute and a half, I think. It's not very long. It'll give you a minute and a half to get all that together. All that together. And look, if you're raising your glass today, you record it, man. Somebody record it if you can. Record it and send it to me, and I'll add it to the song that will play as soon as we're done with this video. As soon as we are done, we're going straight into the Wolfpack song. You got me? You got me, kids? It's what we're going to do. It is what we are going to do. So right here, we're going to go right now to the Sacred Heart video, and as soon as this is over, I'll be right back, and we're going to do the Wolfpack song, so get it ready, guys. Here we go.
You see me in my uniform, and you think I'm going to school.
Studying, doing my homework, practicing my Latin.
You're not completely wrong. The truth is this. What looks like an academy is in fact where I am learning to dig deep.
To search with an attentive heart what all men seek, but few can name.
Wisdom, knowledge, it's the fountain of life and holiness. A sacred temple, the very house of God and gate of heaven.
What I seek, what I have learned to desire, is the desire of the everlasting hills. I am looking to lose myself in the Sacred Heart of Jesus.
It may look like I'm going to school, but in truth, I am learning to chase after my Savior, the King and center of all hearts.
And I will not rest
until I take hold of him,
who has already taken hold of me.
We will find a way.
Commit today, guys.
We will find a way.
Commit today. What are you waiting for?
It goes straight to the heart.
What are you waiting for to do your best? What are you waiting for to give it everything you've got? Right now. Right now. Don't wait any longer. Your family, your friend, your church, and your nation, and your eternal destiny in heaven depend on it. They do. And right now, my kids are learning this in that very school right now. It's where they are right now. Right now. So, okay, speaking of right now, speaking of right now, we are going to be raising our glasses, and I'm really glad to see. I'm really glad to see. Oh, yeah, we got somebody who's talking about Allah. Oh, yeah, okay, I hear about that. Yeah, okay, we talk about that. What? Home drinking my water with coffee in it. Yes, your water with coffee in it. Yeah, okay, here we go. Let's see here. Your cup is empty, coffee brewing, perfect timing. Oh, it's good. It's good. You got to raise it, so you better hurry right now. You got to hurry right now. Jeremiah, coffee with Irish cream straight to my head top. 1010 would recommend. Oh, dude, yes, definitely 100%. Definitely 100%. Oh, and we got a Muslim. By the way, what are you guys doing right now? What channel is that? What channel is that with the guy talking about how Islam is the true religion and Allah is one? Blah, 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 blah. Who's that person? Who's that? Where are you guys commenting, man? Let people know in case they want to go over and join that conversation. Going to be a bunch of fun. And Matthew Brown, dude, yes, I know you're at lunch break now then. Good job, buddy. Good job, bro, because you came just in time because right now we are wolf-packing it up. We're going to wolf-pack this up, kiddos.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Look at these people. You got to be a dancer. You got to howl. Raise that glass high. You're going to give it your very best. And here we go. Yeah, come on. Yeah, brother. You know it, brother. Look at that dude dancing. Cool. Yeah. Woo. Annabelle. Yeah, little bride. Here we go. I love you guys. You inspire me. Oh, yeah. Ow. Yes. Come on. Yeah, boy. Yeah, little dude. My favorite part, man. My favorite. It is. It's my favorite part, guys. I love this little guy, man. He's just the best. He's just the best. Oh my gosh. Yeah, somebody. Oh, what are you saying, you blatty Christians? What blatty? What's that? What's that? By the way, just so that people know, it's easy, in fact, to own some people. In fact, there's some great videos online of debates between Muslims and Christians. There are some really great ones. Some Catholic friends of mine have been involved in that. And also Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer schooled one of them. It was a fantastic debate. And, it's one of those things where you got to deal with it, though. And, you don't want to be rude about it. You want to say, look, this is a conversation somebody's having, that they want to debate the issue. It's apologetics. So they are engaged in apologetics, and they're out there trying to convince people. And look, to be really honest, I'm grateful for when they decide to do it through comment sections and not through, saber-rattling jihad terrorist crap. That's just true. I mean, I'm grateful for that, because that's a real problem. That's a real problem that they have to deal with. I don't think they're doing a very good job of dealing with it internally. And a lot of times they pretend it doesn't exist, or, they'll use like overly broad definitions of jihad to mean it's just simply struggle, and not that there's 4 different jihads and stuff. In fact, I was in a conversation with a crazy SJW person on YouTube yesterday. In a conversation with them, going back and forth a little bit, and that's what they did. Oh yeah, I believe in jihad. It means struggle. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you're taking the most broad and ambiguous dynamic of that and treating it as if that's the totality of it. That's the sum of all of its parts. But the context actually matters. And you're asking where am I from? The United States. I'm from the United States. Yeah. All right, real quick. You got to make sure, keep Dan Bongino, keep him in your prayers. My chemo smirk round 2 is about to begin. I was actually going to show a video, man. I was going to show a video, and I don't know. Maybe I'll share it later. I don't know, man. Because I don't have it. I don't want to go looking for it right now. But I've got a video of my daughter when she was going through chemo. We called it Chemo Day, and it shows what she went through. Okay, and the kind of hardship. But it's like 7 minutes long, I think, and I don't know if the entire video would necessarily be relevant, But I think that it's something that would really encourage him. And so maybe tomorrow what I'll do, I've got the paleo cheese. Ailey, I need you to write this down. And so the idea that we need to do the video clip of paleo cheese, that talking about pheromones, the pheromone story, and also the chemo day. And I'll bring up Dan again tomorrow. So remind me that we got to bring up Dan again tomorrow. Okay? So if you could write those 3 things down, I would really appreciate it, okay? All right, Trump legal team slams Bill Barr's comments on voter fraud. He says there hasn't been any semblance of a DOJ investigation. And that's true. I mean, look, so Bill Barr comes out, and he told the Associated Press, the AP, that called it, by the way, we're reminded constantly under our videos, the AP has called it for Joe Biden, the election. And he says he's not uncovered evidence of widespread fraud that would change the outcome of the 2020 election. Barr claimed the FBI has followed up on specific complaints of voter fraud, yet they have uncovered no evidence. And by the way, just so you know, we've got video upon video. We'll show it today. The people who are in these videos talking about it, including people who've talked about the drop and roll, what that is, that method called drop and roll that switches votes and even does so at a level that is, what is it, fractional, right? And it makes no sense to even have this fractional feature on there, by the way. And for these people to come and testify, or the USPS, right? The Postal Service whistleblowers. They had a meet up yesterday where they were talking about this, a press conference. So they were at a press conference. They're talking about it. In fact, talking about going over different state lines with hundreds of thousands of ballots, hundreds of thousands, and they're going over state lines. And they said, look, they needed to speak up about it and admit what they were told to do and what they were doing. And those people in that press conference made it clear FBI hasn't talked to them. FBI, and are you surprised, by the way? Are you surprised, by the way? The FBI, like, dude, the idea when people go, well, the FBI said, I just kind of sit there and go, really? These are the same people that did what is it? Operation Hurricane. Same folks. Those are the same people that were working with Mueller. It's in fact same people with Mueller and Comey. Those goons. The FBI, the same people. That, by the way, same organization, same entity. That, by the way, when Trump was going to release the JFK files so that we would finally be able to settle the score and say, yep, you know what? Was it just some rando dude, some lone wolf that decided he'd had enough? Or was it in fact a conspiracy involving different people? And lo and behold, on the day that it was supposed to be revealed, we find out that the FBI is like, well, we're respectfully requesting that you don't release it because it would end up deteriorating the trust that the American people would have in our institution. Oh, ain't that quite an admission, in fact? Do we even need more details, by the way? And the FBI, how many times has the FBI been involved in groups? There's two ways of going about it. Number one, sometimes they're involved in groups where they're the ones egging people on to become more extreme. That those people may have, let's say you're somebody who is vulnerable to extremism. Let's say you're vulnerable to it. But that by and large, you don't have factors in your life that have prodded you to the place where you're going to be more extreme. And then let's say that person somehow becomes an extremist, ends up doing something crazy or threatens to do something crazy. And then when you find out about it, you're like, oh, wow. So you're surrounded by a whole bunch of FBI guys. And those FBI guys are sitting there whispering extremism. It happens all the time. It's happened, in fact, with the people being accused of wanting to, kidnap and take over America, basically, right? These people, these radical anarchists, right? They're not right-wingers. These are anarchists, man. These are people who don't believe in the state. They were against Republicans and Democrats alike. They hated the entire system, which on that we can kind of agree. But, means to an end, those things actually matter, homie. Those things actually matter. And so it's one of those things. Here, let me go ahead and get the, let me go ahead and switch over to the ticker here. There we go. So, okay, these things matter, man. But they've assured us, nope, nothing to see here, guys. Nothing to see. Everything's legit. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Yeah. So Rudy says, with all due respect to the Attorney General, there hasn't been any semblance of Department of Justice investigation. We've gathered ample evidence of illegal voting in at least 6 states, which they have not examined. We have many witnesses swearing under oath that they saw crimes being committed in connection with voter fraud. As far as we know, not a single one has been interviewed by the DOJ. The Justice Department also hasn't audited any voting machines or used their subpoena powers to determine the truth. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and by the way, just so that people know, in the comments, I don't engage in real-time apologetics very often because this is a show that has a plan. Right? I have a bunch of stories. I don't know if you can see it at the top. Let me see if it shows. Let me see if I can go ahead and minimize that. No. Let's scroll this bugger up and see if it shows. Okay, no, so it doesn't show it. So I have a whole bunch of these at the top of the screen. I got probably 40 or 50 different tabs. Each one of those its own story. That's why I encourage people, if you are in the comment section, you want to debate things like religion or whatever, man, have at it. Have at it. In fact, I strongly encourage it. Asking questions about why Christians and Jews hate Muslims. I think that's kind of a weird thing to ask because, we are actually many of the people that are engaged in the kind of dialogue that has made even certain Catholics very upset. It's true. And not only that, but peace deals, man. But peace deals. Why do you guys have, it'd be like me asking, why do you guys have such a victim cult mentality? It's kind of a weird thing. And yeah, just because you ask a question doesn't mean that I'm going to actually respond to it. My religion, I'm a Roman Catholic. I go to the traditional Latin Mass. Let's see. Yeah, in the comments, FBI has been corrupted since J. Edgar Hoover. Waco, Ruby Ridge, Biden's laptop, Hillary's emails. Barr was involved with Ruby Ridge. He's done some good, but, F him still. Yeah. Dude, by the way, yes, totally. By the way, totally. And I'm not going to give anybody my phone number. You can find contact information, though. You can find contact info. Whoa, man. I just went like super blurry there. Look at that. What was up with that thing? So, yeah, you can find contact info. I encourage people to message me, and they can do that at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. It's really easy to do. Really, really, really easy to do. I'm not hiding under a bush, bro. I ain't hiding under a bush. Yeah, and Matt says he's going back to work. Hope to catch up again soon. You've been busy, dude. That's, it's a good sign, dude. That's a really, really good sign. But yes, getting back to the idea of the FBI and the trustworthiness of this. I said there and I go, so what, man? FBI, look, Mueller was the guy. Do you remember Mueller sitting around talking about weapons of mass destruction? Do you remember that? And he's right, Waco. If you don't know what happened to Waco, we talked about that too. We talked about that on Paleo Cheese. It's true. The messed up junk that happened. There's some great documentaries at this point as to what went on. Who started it? They didn't start the fire. Let's put it that way. In fact, it had to do with tanks and gas. And they didn't have either of those. A bunch of kids died, by the way. A bunch of kids dead. Who shot first? Why didn't they allow the press anywhere near it? Why did they play that creepy music and all of that psyop crap, that music? That's torture, by the way. They were torturing children. Ruby Ridge, man. Biden's laptop, oh, nothing to see there. And then we end up getting it, and what happens? Hillary's emails, Wiener's emails. These guys, man, it's all about run and cover, because to them, it's a greater good thing that they say, well, yes, there's all these terrible things, but if we end up revealing this, people aren't going to trust the government anymore. They're going to believe that we're being run by a bunch of crazy satanic pedophile perverts. And if they know the truth about this kind of thing, then there's going to create anarchy and chaos, and people might actually want to, change the way that things are run. And we can't have that. So they're gatekeepers in that way. And I say, screw you, dude. Who gives you the call for that? Do your job. It ain't your call to do that. We have representatives to do this, to make that decision. We didn't hire you, you scumbags. And these people are in it, man, for the money too. You sit there and you say, there's so much that goes on, man. So much that goes on. There's all these political calculations, and it's a phony narrative to sit there and treat it like the FBI is just a bunch of good old boys. That they're just, oh man, they're hardcore America people. Bull crap. Bull crap. I don't like this whole thing of sitting there saying, oh, a few bad apples. No. No, not a few bad apples. Not a few bad apples. And you want to know something? To say not a few bad apples does not, of any necessity, mean 100% bad apples. I can say a few good apples. I think that's more accurate. There's a few good apples there. But you look time and time and time again, you can look at this and you can see major, major problems, and they get shoved under the rug. And not in our interest, by the way. What was it in our interest that all those people in Waco are dead? That Ruby Ridge, man, dead. That Biden's laptop was shoved under the rug. That Hillary's emails, or that they went forward with investigations that were complete frauds. That they manipulated the FISA court. What's the deal with that? What's the deal with that? And you say, because it's in their interest. Well, we don't know their interest. They didn't run for that office for us. They didn't run. We don't know who they're playing with. It's a shady thing. But how is that in our interest at all? It's unbelievable. Yeah, there's no evidence of widespread fraud. There's no evidence of widespread fraud. There's no evidence of widespread fraud. Boom, a whole bunch of stuff comes in. And there's Rudy. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, there you go. Got a little bit of the shining going on here. Got a little bit of the shining going on. Is this, by the way, is this real? And I just want to let people know, I hope you guys are glad that on this show, that we try really hard to vet what we do. You know, even the funniest stories, you know, which is why I felt badly yesterday. It was a story that we didn't vet very properly. And I didn't do it. I say we, but it was me. I saw the title, thought it'd be funny. I fell prey to the very thing that I'm against. But I hope you guys are grateful that we do that. Even for the idea of the Sharpies, right? Because the Sharpie thing, that came and that went. I remember it. I remember everybody was pumped about it. Everybody's talking about, oh my gosh, I used a Sharpie, did my vote count? And I remember seeing a video that people were sharing as if it verified that. And the idea was that these people, I think it was in Texas, had gotten a lady to say that a couple years before that it caused an issue. And they said, oh, look, see, that proves it. And you could tell that the lady was like, no, you know, and she's like, oh, kind of throws her hands up. And I'm thinking the probability that this lady is scheming, you know, I don't want to say that. I want to say, what are you saying? Like, what's the deal? And the deal was that it was bleeding through some of the papers. Not all, some. And it would cause issues with that. And so what did they do? I believe that they changed not only markers, but the paper itself. Problem solved. And in fact, I spoke to people who are in Michigan who know a lot about this stuff. They work on these things, actually. And they are outing the fraud and scheming that's going on. They're part of the group that's organizing a lot of the things going on in opposition to the schemesters and to the lies. And they said, look, it's that part's not true. Don't fall for everything, guys. And so I didn't promote it, man. I even told people, if you have better articles than that, you send it to me. And none of you did, by the way. Then again, none of you answered the question, which you'd win a book. I don't know why you guys, you win a book, you can select from there's a number of them that are in our vault here, our treasure box. And you would be able to select from those. And the question had to do, what was it? What do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? I thought it was an easy question. And you guys didn't, nobody had the answer, man. Nobody had the answer. And so if you think you got it now, you're welcome to share it. But here's the thing. I would like to know, okay, is a translate, okay, if it's translated by memory, like that's actually a decent place. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and play this because I want, and you're going to have to read it. Okay, so let's see if we can zoom in even further. You're going to have to read it because this is the kind of thing that's extraordinarily worrisome. And this guy, what is he, a professor from University of Illinois? I believe he's involved in the United States. And I thought it was Illinois. Right? But you got to read what he's saying. You know, this stuff right here, man, I mean, this is messed up junk. You got to be able to read it. And so make sure it's not something that, and I'm going to step out, that way you can go ahead and see. Oh, crud. Let's see here. News. I'm going to have to take down a bunch of this different stuff. Let's go ahead and switch back over to the circle here. Okay, yep. Let's switch over that. No. I did it again. What the heck, man? I did it again. So, okay. Every time it doesn't. So I'm gonna switch out here. I want you to go ahead and read this. And if you've got news, in fact, and more to back this up. I mean, it recently came out that there were documents even that had come out involved with China, and they're tinkering around even with what we knew they did with coronavirus. But with this right here, if you've got even more information about this, make sure to send it to me. But here's this video here.
结果没想到中国要在2027年超过美国了。2027年，原来说是可能还要缓个1-2年，结果这去年今年这个上帝搞了个小阴谋，是吧？上帝给这个搞出来一个新冠，叫世界各国一弄，一搞这个新冠，这么一折腾新冠，结果对世界各国出了个考题，等于是。 结果这个考题是个偏心的考题。这个新冠啊，这个东西啊，它是最不利于欧美的，最有利于朝鲜和中国的。所以全球抗疫，朝鲜第一，中国第二。朝鲜是个0嘛，是吧
？Not entirely sure, man. Are you guys getting an echo on that? Are you guys getting some reverb, man, on that bugger? It sounded like some reverb to me. Sounds like some zero stuff here. Well, I'm going to keep playing here. We're at about 41. About 41 seconds into it, man. I'm hoping that that reverb is just on my end of this. That's what I'm hoping. Let's see the advanced properties here. Advanced properties. This is what mic 2, mono, monitor and output. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why we would have that. So I'm hoping that that's not the case, man. I'm hoping that is not the case. But we're going to go ahead and keep playing it.
朝鲜是个零嘛，是吧？朝鲜是零感染，所以这个体质啊，它可以做到。我们这个体质也好，但是比朝鲜还差一点，还不如朝鲜，所以咱还死了4000人，是吧？但是你死4000人和美国死22万人比，你等于一个人都没死嘛，对吧？你咱们等于差不多也是接近零感染，接近零死亡，14亿人死了4000人，那根本就等于没人得病，没人死嘛。中国经济，全球经济，中国现在一枝独秀。 中国超过美国时间提前了，2027年没有问题。美国活不成了，体系我们奋斗了10几年，在2012年，我们已经在台海取得了对美日，在台海不是在世界，我们在渤海、黄海、台海，我们对美军形成了绝对。
So yeah, oh, and there's definitely an echo in that. Not entirely sure what that's about. You know, but the thing is, so he's talking here. And in fact, we'll just cut it there. I mean, I think he said enough, guys. I think he said enough. And he's brought up some really valid points, by the way. He's a little bit of a sicko. He's a little bit of a sicko, you know, talking about if we have, 4,000 people die out of all the people, that's like nothing. That's like nothing. So he's pretty Machiavellian. In the dark way. I'm Machiavellian too. I understand how politics works. I understand how it works. At the same time, this guy, he brings up a valid point. As sick as it is, he brings up a valid point that when you have a population the size of theirs, you can take pretty big hits. You can. And when you're plotting and scheming to have a virus that is freaking everybody out, dividing everybody up, getting a bunch of people sick, and you're hiding results, you're full of misinformation and disinformation. I began worrying about that when I first saw these videos and seeing people falling down in the streets. That was worrisome. And I'm like, dude, look at all these people in hazmats. Where did they come from? Why are all these people in hazmats walking around and spraying people down? They just happened to be on the scene. They just happened to know what it was. They didn't find out what caused that. I mean, maybe you had a heart attack. You're spraying somebody down. So these kind of things. These guys, and even the videos of people getting arrested. I began thinking, I said, look, they're an authoritarian regime. And so their propaganda is different than ours. I've just explained this before. That our propaganda that we have, which, and I'm using that in a way that admits that it's not entirely true, but at the same time is arguably necessary, or it's useful when you have a republic, when you have a federalist system of a bunch of different states brought together under a federal system, under compact of a constitution, that in order to do this, especially when it's so hyper-centralized, everybody's attention on the federal, right? Especially on the executive branch, because they need to be assured that things are actually under control and that communication is happening, even if they've been taken completely off guard. And that they gradually introduce certain steps to protect yourself. They're not just going to get on there and scream, fire! And everybody's going to be like, bah! And everybody's going to rush to the bank, rush to the store at the exact same time without giving various intermediate institutions time and space in order to put together a plan or to tinker with the one they've got, to adjust it maybe to this particular situation. In China, they don't have that. In China, they are the ones. Fire, get inside. If you're not inside, we're going to arrest you. Your family may not see you again. And so that's the way they roll. So their propaganda plays into that. But a lot of people saw it. A lot of people freaked out, but then they started saying, well, wait a second, why are we not seeing the exact same thing? Why are we not seeing people just falling down in the streets. What's going on with that? You know, even our hospitals weren't filled up. That's why they had to use hospitals. That's why they had to use different hospitals. Pictures, what, from Italy? How many times did they get busted doing that? And it's like you're not using any hospital picture from the United States, even when it was talking only about the United States. Because they weren't seeing it. And because the optics we had from the United States was a bunch of TikTok and nurses. Those were the optics that we had. And it was confusing because you would see sweaty doctors, man, this has been a war room in here. It's a war zone in here. And the hospital's empty. And it makes you wonder because you see videos like the one here in Grand Rapids. What was it, the Cherry Clinic or whatever? That they had a big line of people. And everybody's waiting in line, and then come to find out you've got undercover video of this and audio of this where those people in those cars were the people who worked at the clinic. Because the news that was there, was it CNBC? Who was it? I thought it was CNBC. That they were there for their morning show to scare people, and they were surprised because ain't nobody in line. So they said, do you mind, like, you know, having your nurses and stuff and technicians, just having them get in their cars and getting out of their scrubs and stuff, get in their cars and line up so that we can make it look that way? That's real. That really happened in this town, actually. In this town. That one right there actually belongs in a different place. Okay, I'll scooch that one over. We'll scooch that here in a little bit. And that. And then, okay, so, okay, maybe this one was in the wrong place. Okay, yeah, okay. So, yeah, back to election here. We'll get back to COVID in a minute. So, Nevada, Trump campaign says Clark County Registrar Joe Gloria is hiding from subpoena service. Well, ain't that a thing, by the way? Ain't that a thing? Apparently, Victor Jokes, is that how you pronounce that? Or is it Yucks? How'd you pronounce that, man? Joecks. Don't know. Yeah, real Donald Trump's campaign tells me they've been trying to serve Clark County Registrar Joe Gloria with a subpoena since Wednesday. County workers locked the building to keep them out, and then Gloria hid in his house all weekend. What are Gloria and Clark County hiding? Well, obviously something. Like, that's not even a question anymore. It's not even a question where, I'm gonna, lock the doors. Don't let anybody in. And then, they're here? I better go in my house. I'm going to hide. Oh. Give me a break, dude. Give me a break, homie. Here, right here. Here's the election whistleblowers. This is that press conference from yesterday. The Amistad. We got a bunch of videos for this, by the way. Here we go.
First of this year. Let me restate that again. This evidence demonstrates, and it's through eyewitness testimony that's been corroborated by others through their eyewitness statements, that 130,000 to 280,000 completed ballots for the 2020 general election were shipped from Bethpage, New York to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where those ballots and the trailer in which they were shipped disappeared.
Isn't that a thing? Isn't that a thing? The ballots and the way that they were shipped and everything else, they just disappeared, guys. They just disappeared. You know what the problem with that is? Chain of custody. Chain of custody, which is important, by the way, because if you're trying to make sure that something is authentic, and that it hasn't been tampered with, and you go, well, we lost these ballots. We didn't find them again. Or, well, they were gone for a long time. And then they came back and we don't know who had them or what was done in that meantime, or the computers or the laptops or the USBs or whatever. And you sit there and say, man, that really erodes trust. It really erodes trust. And how do you verify? How do you verify why they were doing that? Who are they? Who told them to do it? You'll never know. You'll never know. Update. Dominion employee identified, allegedly caught on video downloading data on USB, plugging it into a laptop, manipulating data, and then palming. Did you see this video, by the way, of this guy? Dominion fraud. Here you go. So here's a dude, shows up, and you're not even supposed to be able to do this, right? So he shows up, and here he is. And this is, I like Code Monkey Z. If you're not following Code Monkey Z, you got to do it. Really great. He says, watch a Dominion representative at Gwinnett County Election Central, responsible for tabulating ballots and certifying results, download data to a USB from the election management server, plug it into a laptop, manipulate the data, then palm the USB. He downloads data from the election management server onto a USB, inserts it into the laptop, manipulates ballot scans in the file exporter, ejects the USB, palms it, distracts the people nearby, then suspiciously walks out of the room. And they got a close-up of his badge, so let's go ahead and see it.
What's this guy doing?
So there you go. He's looking around. Do-do-de-do.
See, she's looking at her Excel spreadsheet with notes, handing it to him.
Yes, there's the spreadsheet. And then he's like, do-do-de-do, just kind of poking around. Oh, we're just looking at some pens, looking around, seeing what's going on. Yeah, man, yeah, you're good, buddy.
Nerd Boy's looking for a certain kind of pen for some reason.
Yeah, what's going on here, bud?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And then what's he got going on? Let's see here. Open stuff up. Let's see.
Yeah. He just pulled a USB out.
Did he?
Yeah.
Where's he going?
Pulled a stick.
Oh my god, is he taking it to that laptop?
Yes. Yes, he is. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Yeah, who is this guy? What's he doing? And then he goes around. He's, oh, look at this here.
He's on a mouse over there.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his mouse, opening stuff up, looking around, kind of leaning over. He ain't sitting down. There you go. So here's this guy. Well, who is the guy? Who is the dude? They end up finding out later. But here's the crazy thing about it. Here's the crazy thing about it. Actually, does this particular story talk about it? Because I think it was another one. Yeah, his name is Xavier Corey. Here he is, right there. That's the guy. So we find out, man. We find out who these people are. We just stopped by to drop him off. Yeah. Considering the amount of fraud and continued lies and the number of ways we witnessed cheating in this year's election, does anyone really doubt what they witnessed here? There's the USB. Bada boom. The USB. Bada boom. Come on, man. There ain't nothing there. There's nothing there, guys. We see it. And this is where it gets crazy. This is what I said, man, at the rally. I said, this is a crazy thing because we're assured over and over and over, there ain't nothing there. There ain't nothing there. Don't look. And we know the media is lying out of their rear ends at us. So what do they do? What do they do right here? It says, no evidence of lost or changed votes. U.S. election officials. And what's the picture of? The exact person that is in the Dominion video is the one that the AP used to say that there was no fraud. It's a color revolution, guys. It's a straight up coup. We're dealing right now with a coup. And just so you know, the people who watched yesterday, okay? The people who were tuned in yesterday, let's see if we can get this full screen. No, that's as big as it gets. So the people who tuned in yesterday, right? You guys may have seen when Maya Han was on. She was our on-the-ground reporter yesterday, which we thank her, by the way. Big, huge thanks to her because she felt like she flubbed and she, floundered a little bit. No, it was on the fly, off the cuff, and she did a great job. It was actually really cool to do that. And it was a really engaging part of the show where people can see what everyday individuals are doing to try to make a difference. But there was a guy on there, and I said, look, it's a bunch of riffraff. You got to get him off of here, man. You got to get him off the screen, dude. And we were talking about memes and how we're going to get together and talk because we're both really into memes and stuff. Well, yesterday, President Donald Trump shares a video. I want to see if you recognize, oh boy.
What time of the morning was it when you saw this come in? Or what time of the evening was it?
Like I said, 3-ish.
There he is.
In that window.
In the afternoon.
No.
And there he is, man. He was on the show in the morning. And there he is being shared by Donald Trump. Oh, boy, dude, what a great guy. This guy's awesome, man. You got to hear it. You got to hear it. So, so he's there at 4 a.m, okay? He's there at 4 a.m. I'm going to hop out, let you listen. It's about a minute and a half. Here you go. But it's important. This testimony is extremely important. Here you go.
No, I was there from
3 or 4 in the morning.
I was there at 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
They were in male sleeves, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody have any earmarkings of who they were carrying these ballots? Were they carrying them? Were they on a dolly?
Yeah, they were on a dolly. Yeah, they were on a dolly. Do I know who they were? Absolutely not. But there were people that were doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Lucido. Senator Santana.
Was there any particular reason you didn't ask for a supervisor to question, the ballots coming in on a dolly? Or?
Well, I didn't figure I needed to because the lead counsel that was supposed to be there was taking tally, and I was there standing right next to him. So I figured he was kind of the person that was overseeing the whole night. That's what we were told. No, we were talking directly about why are these coming in. We all thought it was interesting that these ballots were coming in so late.
Think about
What
it.
was his response? We were trying to take.
Sorry. What was his response, sir?
We were taking count, and we were his exact response I couldn't recall, but we were definitely perplexed that these were coming in so late.
4 a.m. 4 a.m, guys. 4 a.m, and they come in, and you got a supervisor there, and he's perplexed. Well, hey, what's going on here? Where are all these ballots coming in? Who are these people? Where are these ballots coming from? Postal Service? Were those the ballots that they found and swept? When they went through, and all of a sudden, magically, you see that magic leap that takes place? Yeah. Here's another one. Here's another testimony. Okay? So you got to hear these because we're being told day in and day out that there's no evidence of this. This right here, this is evidence. These are sworn affiants, man. These are people who signed sworn affidavits. And they're talking about what they saw and what went on. So here we go. Here's another one. And you have to know this stuff. That's why I'm letting it play. I want you to hear it in their words. I could say it. I could simply just reiterate what they said. I want you to hear it from them and realize these are real people who saw real things, real crazy junk. And other people, those in power, the uniparty type, the deep state or swampy type, they don't want to listen. And not only do they not want to listen, when they hear it, they close their ears and close their eyes and insist over and over with a smile on their face that they've never seen nor heard any evidence. And it's just not there. And anyone claiming otherwise is in fantasy land. No, we're not. We're listening to this. People are tuning into the show. That's how they know. And shows like this that are putting themselves out there this way. Here we go.
Next, we have this name that I'm doing very poorly with, Hema. Hema, welcome to the Senate Oversight Committee. After her will be Melissa Carone and James Danley. Hema, welcome to the Senate Oversight Committee. Can you tell me how to say your last name correctly?
Kolanagi Reddy.
So now everybody else can know.
The moment I saw you holding onto that card, I'm like, that's me. That's got to be me.
Well, you have 3 minutes, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. This is my first time doing this as a poll challenger at TCF. As an immigrant to this country, as you can tell, we had great respect for America, the elections here. We always thought it has a lot of integrity, whereas the countries we come from, a lot of things happen. But all of that changed the day I went there. Like I was at TCF on both the days, 3rd and the 4th. 3rd was pretty much the same monotonous stuff going on, nothing much to note, other than occasional ballot challenging. But the next day is where I know.
By the way, I have to interject. So sorry. Do you see here how this also crushes the narrative? It crushes the narrative because, number one, it's a woman. Number two, she's a person of color. Number three, she's an immigrant. Number four, she's saying, look, we've come from countries where this often is the case, where we see terrible things happen. Okay, we see election fraud. We see the tampering and everything else. So you can see it's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons why the media and so many on the left, why they simply don't want to look at this, because it destroys multiple aspects of their really wicked, satanic, diabolical narrative. It's the way it works.
Noticed a lot of issues. There was a group of people who were like agitators who were trying to get GOP people in trouble. And from my skin color, everybody assumes that I'm a Democrat. And so they just kind of come to me. And one of the ladies was thinking that let's get these MFs out. And I'm like, MFs who? Like, because she thought I was a Democrat. Then when I pulled out my tag, she looked at me and she's like, you're on the wrong side. I'm like, how can you say I'm on the wrong side? I pick whoever I want, right? Because this is a free country.
You're on the wrong side of a scheme. You're on the wrong side because you're actually paying attention and watching. And they're like, oh no, this person's got their eyes open. Oh my gosh, this person has a conscience. They're not willing to be part of this massive scheme that we are engaged in here. The massive fraud that we are engaged in here. That's dangerous, man. And look at the crazy assumptions that they make. Oh, you're a person of color. You're a woman. Oh, you're an immigrant. Oh, dude, you're a Democrat. You're good. Yeah, you're good. No, dude, that's wicked on so many levels, by the way.
But then I noticed that they were going and getting all the white male Republicans out by, just kind of sheer intimidation, just saying, oh, you're mask flipped, you're going to get people killed, like you heard from so many other people. And then what I did was I got trained by both the MIGOP and Election Integrity Fund. So I went to Tim Griffin of Election Integrity Fund and I said, can I have my nonpartisan credentials? And then when I got that.
Yeah. So, okay, so you can see they're like, oh, well, who are the problem people? Oh, the white males. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. It's one of the reasons why we simply don't trust them anymore, man. It's one of the reasons. It's ragingly racist. Ragingly racist. And in the comments, somebody says they don't have Gmail. I do. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying I do. So you're able to go ahead and reach out to me that way if you'd like. Paleocrat Diaries at gmail.com. When am I online next? I'm online. I do a show every single day, bro. 5 days a week, man. 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. Yes, let's see here. Yeah, somebody's saying that they're my father. You're my dad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, see, here's the thing, man. I've already been on Maury, and my dad was the father. No, in all reality, people, look, it's quite obvious. Anyone who knows my dad knows that I am his son. If for no other reason than I've shared pictures before of my dad when he was my age or when he was younger than, let's say I was 35 years old, and I'm sharing a picture of him when he was around the same age. People thought that was a picture of me over and over and over, even facial recognition on Facebook and elsewhere, that it assumes that that's me. Because I'm kind of a carbon copy of my dad in that way. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. I see things about my mom, like my good looks and stuff. I say, I get that from my mom, man. I get that from my mom. In the comments, somebody said, people won't trust the government. After this election, I have zero trust. And look, that's one of those things, man. It's one of those things where we have, we've been in this for a long time. In fact, if you look at what's gone on for many, many years, when you do polls regarding the trust in the media, or you have, what's the trust that people have or do not have in elected leaders, in religious leaders, America has experienced a just absolutely devastating degree of distrust in their institutions, and there's a lot of reasons for this. Some of this has to do with the sheer amount of information that we have at our fingertips now all the time. You would be able to the pageantry and theatrics of politics. It played good in a time when, that's all that people saw. If you went and you did a big rally or you did a big speech or you come out on the balcony somewhere and a bunch of, a fawning throng of people are all out there looking up at you and waiting to hear. You're at the back of a train talking to people. That when you did that, or in a diner, that was the extent of it. And that when people were able after that to begin reading newspapers, the idea was, well, the newspapers are critical. But the problem is that newspapers and journalists began to realize that when they were critical of these politicians, they would lose access. And if you lose access, you are losing headlines. And if you're losing headlines, you're losing money. You lose money, you lose your job. And so in the end, what they did is it was a bargain. It was a deal to say, look, we play certain stories certain ways. I've seen this even on a local level. A lot of these crime reporters, man, they have keys to the precincts. It's insane, by the way. That's absolutely insane. And then TV made it even worse. That's just pure pageantry at that point. Because it's all what you're seeing. It's the optic of it all. Dr. Shiva presents data at the Arizona hearing, completely obliterates the Biden victory narrative. It's got a video. Now, I don't know how long this is, but he presented very powerful data that completely obliterated the narrative. His credentials are impressive. He holds 4 degrees from MIT. Watch him talk about his credentials and his background. So this is on Twitter, so it'd be a little bit shorter. Here we go.
Dr. Shiva, would you please state your credentials?
Sure. My name is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. I hold 4 degrees from MIT. My undergraduate is in electrical engineering and computer science. I have 2 other masters. One is in scientific visualization from the MIT Media Lab, my master's. I also hold another master's from MIT in mechanical engineering, and my PhD is in a field called computational systems biology. And when I was 14 years old, I created the first email system while working as a full-time research fellow at Rutgers Medical School. And at that time, I began trying to understand sleep patterns in babies, why babies were dying in their sleep, and looking at patterns.
Think about this, by the way, guys. I was 14 years old, working at a medical facility, doing research on this, trying to figure out why babies are dying in their sleep. And I, stumbled on the idea of email. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about some chump. And he's talking about this. He's laying it out, saying how this happened.
Signals to detect the anomalous signal and a normal signal. So the common thread throughout my entire life from the age of 14 till today has been pattern analysis, applying it to detect sleep patterns, handwriting recognition, and speech recognition, face analysis, understanding the analysis of signals to detect flaws in aircraft wings of airplanes or bridges. But pattern recognition is my field of expertise. And so what I just shared with people today is using that expertise to understand an anomalous situation, a implausible situation relative to normal situations. But in addition to my academic training, my industry background across the 7 companies I've done is starting companies and running companies which focus on pattern analysis and pattern recognition, a whole host of industries.
So how would that be important? Each and every single bit of it is important because he's talking about pattern analysis. He's talking about the idea that if you look at the pattern, you can see, right, showing the only way, right, he's presenting his data, showing the only way for Biden to have statistically caught up with real Donald Trump was if Democrat votes came in at 130% for Biden and negative 30% for Trump. In other words, impossible. Impossible. And this is the argument, man. This is what people don't understand. You're technically arguing that the reason why this model, one of the reasons why this model is so important is because it's demonstrating that the narrative that's being peddled right now and the numbers that we were fed, the numbers that we were shown and that the elites are relying on, that these numbers are not just improbable, but these numbers are actually impossible. It's important. It's important here. As for in the comments, somebody asking about my profile, Paleocrat Diaries. If you look up Paleocrat, I'm on YouTube. You can do that. And look, there are people, I want to get on your show right now. I want to get on your show right now. Dude, good luck. Our first time we had a guest on was yesterday. And it was a real shot. And as I said, we don't normally engage too deeply in apologetics here. We leave that for comment sections. We leave that so that people, if they want to engage in apologetics, I've talked about it here. I've talked about the transcendental argument for the existence of God, for example. I've talked about that. That's something that I advocate. See, coming from OAN, Trump legal team to hold hearing in Michigan on election integrity at 6 p.m. So make sure to tune in. In fact, there are some people who are throwing a party. I won't say where, but they're throwing a get-together, eating some delicious food, and wanting to get a bunch of the MAGA folks together. I may end up going there. If I do, I'll make sure to do some videos, and that way we can share that. Let's see. In the comments, Russia this, Russia that. Meanwhile, China is buying up our debt, real estate, Hollyweird, flowing fentanyl through the country. Add COVID to it. Add gobbling up farms. Gobbling up family farms. Family farms are like a thing of the past almost. And it says, but hey, those Orthodox Russians aren't a threat. You know, I know people like look, I have friends who are Orthodox. I have friends who are Russian Orthodox. In fact, I have colleagues, people that I consider to be maybe strange bedfellows in this war that's going on, that we're dealing with. And I've said this before. I have people who are Protestants of every shade. I have secular people of different types that support what we're doing here, because they recognize that we are undergoing a extremely dangerous, a terribly dangerous phase of the civilizational cycle. The way that these things operate, the way that challenging and ascendant civilizational models, the way that they create this kind of havoc, and especially when you're dealing with the left, you're just going to deal with that, man. You're going to deal with that. Their methodology, man, going way back is pretty wicked. And so you're going to end up having strange bedfellows. And you say, look, we're going to have major disagreements on X, Y, and Z. But the truth is, we are going to deal with that over some beer while tending to the wounds from the battle that we've been waging all day in this extremely, extremely important and potentially paradigm changing war. And so, I don't know if that's what you were getting at. But, you know, that's just the way that is. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we saw him. Yeah, that's our boy. That's our boy. You know, Dolly's full of ballots. Let's see, which one's this one?
What time of the evening was it?
Oh, that's the same guy. That's our boy. That's our boy. I was driving completed ballots from New York to Pennsylvania, so I decided to speak up. Update. USPS contract truck driver who transferred 280,000 fraudulent ballots from New York to PA speaks at the presser. As reported earlier, this is by Cassandra Fairbanks. New election fraud whistleblowers come forward on Tuesday, including one who witnessed the shipping of an estimated 144,000 to 288,000 completed ballots across 3 state lines on October 21st. The new information was made public at a press conference by the Amistad Project of the Thomas More Society. Does it have a video of him? Okay, here we go.
So,
no, it's 9 minutes long. I ain't playing that. Sorry, guys. Ain't playing it. But there's an update here. Please pass this info along. I am a professional driver, and all companies have onboard computers in the trucks. They record miles, location, departure, and arrival times. This electronic logbook would be a valuable resource to verify any movement of illegal ballots. This is more unbelievable at every turn. Contact me if more info is needed. Give info to all your other staff writers, please. Yes, absolutely. Here's another one. 2 minutes. We'll play this one. Then we're moving on to coronavirus, man. We're going to move on to that. And then we're going to talk. Look, we got a lot to cover here in 45 minutes. Because, you know, this is an urgent thing, and it's actually time sensitive. So this is something that, you know, I told you guys I don't like talking about all the time. In fact, it's something I don't really like talking about at all. I wish we weren't here. I wish we weren't involved in a extremely fraudulent election, widespread nature of fraud. I wish we weren't. In fact, it's a black eye on this country, and if it doesn't get resolved, it's going to end up affecting us for a very, very, very long time. It has the potential to do it. And so for this season of the show, I've decided not only to go longer, but to give you as much information as I possibly could. And so I think this is the last one I'll do on this. No, you know what? I'm going to show this one instead. Let's make sure that it's shorter. Okay, it's on Twitter, so it will be. Here we go. Again, One American News, man. It's great. I hope they don't get mad that I'm playing minutes of their stuff. It's for commentary. I hope we're on the same side of this. But I met this lady, by the way. I met this lady. Okay. So really excited to have met her. Dr. Tarver. Yes. Oh, my gosh, man. Yes, Dr. Tarver. It was awesome to meet her. I met her at the rally. Dr. Linda Lee Tarver is a former Michigan Civil Rights Commissioner, Community Affairs Director, and Election Integrity Liaison. We got to speak at the Stop the Steal rally last Saturday, and I thought I got a picture with her. I could have swore I got a picture with her. I got a picture with a couple different people, and I thought I got a picture with her because she was asking if everything looked okay, and I looked and said, look, you look warm. You look good. She had a really nice necklace. I like her style. I love that style, man. You're doing good, woman. You're doing good. And she's powerful. She's a powerful speaker. She did a really great job talking at the rally. And I want you to be able to hear what she says here.
Mixed with clerical errors, but a lot of them are considered fraud. I would have referred all of them to the Attorney General if it were me. But
okay, so this is actually going to be really quiet. I don't even know if I can raise that up.
They tried to remedy those things as best they can, but unless you put the full faith into the law and start prosecuting people, we will continue to see what we've been seeing. 71% of Detroit cannot be recounted.
Yeah, 71% of Detroit cannot be recounted. So she's bringing up a lot of things, and I'm sorry that it was so low. I mean, I cranked up the volume on both the microphone auxiliary on OBS as well as on this, and that's as loud as it got. So that's unfortunate. But she was an exceptional witness today. Okay, maybe this one's a little bit louder. Let's see if this one is. And if it's too long, I'll skip it. But we're gonna see real quick. Yeah, it's 36 minutes. Let's see.
Next,
here she is.
Laws on the books. So my brothers and sisters in the Republican GOP has done their due diligence to pass laws, make laws. The enforceability of the laws, however, because in Grand Traverse County, we're not having this problem. In certain counties, that Van Buren County, we're not having this hot mess problems that we have in Pontiac and in Flint and in Detroit. We don't have that. So if you want Republicans to pass more laws, why don't the Democrats in their cities enforce the doggone election laws so that we can have fair and just elections? Because I just gave you the law. It's a felony for me to give my friend, next door neighbor, my ballot. It's a misdemeanor for me to give it to them, and it's a felony for them to turn it in. A felony. It is not enforced. And we have situations in the inner cities and these Democrat-controlled areas, because that's what we're talking about. Democrat-controlled areas cannot seem to balance their elections. And
ain't that a thing? Ain't that a thing? And you got to ask why. You have to ask, why is that? Why is it that they're refusing to do that? Why is it that they don't want to have signatures or any kind of ID when it comes to voting? Why is it? And we already know when it comes to illegal immigration, they've lied through their teeth for a very long time. They swore up and down, oh no, we would never. It's so unfair and so rude for you to think that we would ever use the idea of illegal immigration and think that maybe they should vote too. Well, guess what? We're in 2020. It's where we are. It's where we are. And that's exactly, look, you can hear it over and over and over and over and over again. This is what they're promoting. Fraud left and right. Fraud left and right. You don't need to, they want to make things that were felonies in the past. Certain states did. Certain states made it, right? Not even through the legislature, but through the executive, which, by the way, that's constitutionally not just suspect, it'd be invalid, it'd be illicit, which is going to be the argument in some of these court cases. And it's going to baffle people. They're going to say, well, wait a second, but didn't the executive, didn't the governor and the Supreme Court make a decision on that? And you go, yes, But constitutionally, in your state and on the federal level, you can't do that. What? There are rules? What? I have to familiarize myself with that? There's a thing called order? Are you serious? Yes. And that's what she's talking about. She's saying you got to be able to enforce it. All right, moving on. And by the way, go check out any of these articles that I share with you. Go and do any of them, man. Go and do any of them. Yeah, right here. Oh, by the way, in the comments, in fact, I'll pull up these comments. Why not? Just real quick. In the comments, let's see here. Do. Let's see. We got to go up a little way. Don't. Hold on. Yeah, because there was a yeah, right here. DW. I worked closely with China for years. When I first saw the videos, I immediately told my wife not to believe anything that comes out of China. Everything is property and of service to the state. Thank you, by the way, for bringing that up, DW. I mean, thank you for bringing that up because, it's one thing to hear it from me. It's one thing to hear it from me just as someone who is familiar, right? And who studied political science for years, who studied geopolitics for years and competing systems of political economy and communism of various shades, and to study this and to be aware of how propaganda is used. Right? To be aware of what happens when a state controls this. And not just a state, but when a culture has certain ideas about itself and cohesion. And not to every man. There are people who definitely disagree. But it's so old. In fact, I've said before that I want to do a video, and I should do it not even on the show. I should do it as maybe even a podcast, just an audio made available on the website, Paleocratdiaries.com, about the introduction to Art of War. Because my copy of Art of War, the introduction in that, talks about the view of culture maintained throughout many, many years by the Chinese, and how the idea of what the state is or what the authority is and how it represents people and the role that they play in all of it, and how this has fleshed itself out throughout time. And it's powerful. And in fact, it gives people a better understanding for what we're dealing with. Gives people a better understanding. Yeah, Bethany said she had no idea that Maya was doing that. Oh, going around doing the videos. I know, because I heard that Adam, and maybe you, I'm assuming, that you guys were in the car. And I'm like, dude, you should have been out there, man, if you were out there with the people, freezing your little buns off. Just like Maya, that's what she said. She was, freezing her little buns off. That you would have been on the video. You could have been on the very first live segment with another person that's ever happened in the history of Paleocrat Diaries. There we go. I just don't understand how the people recording all of this suspicious stuff didn't do anything. If it was me, I'd sabotage the whole dang thing for Biden and Trump. Yeah, right. Either account fair or I'd burn the building. Yeah, I mean, well, dude, they were escorting people out. They had police there. And remember, part of the Detroit leaks that we shared, and we shared the audio on this program. So there were a whole bunch of audios from training sessions done. People, training for accounting and everything else. And a couple of the things that were really relevant was talking about how to manipulate rules about social distancing to make sure that people weren't around and that they couldn't see what you were doing, which, again, why would you do that? Why would you do that and laugh about the idea that social distancing will keep them away? They weren't talking about, well, you don't want to get COVID. It wasn't even what they were talking about. They were talking about challenges to what they were doing. They didn't want challenges, so they were using that rule. That's number one. Another thing that they were saying was that a lot of these people who were working there were going to be young people who didn't really understand what was going on. And by the time that they leave at night, and that's a key thing, they would leave at night. And when they go home at night, the people in this room, the people that were being trained, they would be the ones in there to see the books, to be able to make decisions. And it's good because nobody would be seeing it. And part of that was that if somebody comes up and they're challenging, or they're even challenging saying that, look, my ballot is something's wrong with this, that they'd make them think that they voted, but then encourage them to leave. And if they did not, and if they insisted, to be able to confirm it, or if challengers were insisting, what do you do? And people laughed and raised their hand, and someone said, you call the police, and other people were saying it, and ha 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 ha, yeah, you get the police. Each and every one of those things. If that was done for anything else, if that was done for, a baking competition, a cookie baking competition, if that's what it was about, and you're on there and it's a serious thing, and you're trying to make a couple $1,000, let's say it's a big one. It's a big one. And you find out that there's all this audio ahead of time concerning the people who are training for the people who will be counting votes and judging and writing down tabulations. And if you found out that group was saying stuff like that, you'd be furious. In fact, you would probably think it's evidence, and it's because it'd be personal to you. If it's in your favor, you might be tempted to do, I don't know, what the mainstream media is doing by covering their eyes and their ears and playing the whole, see me thing. Me no see nothing, me no hear nothing. Says here, I saw a pic of you guys. You saw a pic of us together. You need to share it with me. You need to tag me in that bugger. If you see pictures of me from the rally, you got to share. You got to tag me, because I don't have it. I don't see it. Oh, also, the Wolfpack needs a gang sign, so we can flash it in pics together. We do, don't we? We do. We need to figure out, like, what are things you can do with your hands, like your fingers and stuff, that if you put a light on it and it's shadow cast on the wall, that it looks like a wolf. Because then we can go ahead and use that. That's our sign, man. That's our sign. Clay says, hey there, Jeremiah. Sounding good, sir. Dude, you are the man, by the way. You are the man. This guy, by the way, Clay, if you don't know Clay Coy, you have to know him. He's a dude on the front line, man. This is the MAGA man par excellence. Love this guy. First time we met him. Didn't know who he was. We were at the Trump rally in Battle Creek. We'd been there since early in the day, right? Not prepared for the weather either. We were not prepared for it. I was especially unprepared for it. And so we're freezing our tushies off, man. Toes are like turning purple. Said, this is real bad. We finally get into the rally. It's late at night, but we're way back, which was okay. We talked to some of the people in the press pool. I talked to Rank from over and Tim Collins from over at WBCK in Battle Creek. Talked to him. Talked to a police chief from Battle Creek. Had a really good conversation there. Talked to some other people, some people with mainstream institutions, things like that. But we were kind of in the back, and it was hard to see. And so we're like, my wife, we're both pretty short. We're like hobbits. And there was a guy a little bit in front of us, and we weren't having a hard time seeing over him because he was actually one of those people that was even shorter than us. Okay. And he turned around. He had his daughter with him. And he turned around and he looked at us and he said, would you guys like to switch spots? He said, I can put my daughter on my shoulder so she can see. Now, he admitted later it wasn't as big of a sacrifice because he'd been to like 9 or 10 rallies. So he'd been all over, man. He'd seen Trump a lot. This guy, any time any of these MAGA pop-up rallies happen, you can bank on the idea that homeboy's there. Homeboy's there. And he's got himself a show, too. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, man. Have you guys had to kind of slow it down because of different things and you're not broadcasting as much or what? Because I'd love to have him on the show. We got to have him. We got to have Adam, too. Adam and Bethany. We got, especially we got to treat the people inside. We got to treat the people who are supporters. We got to give them preference, man. We got to give them preference. As much as I would really like to be like, oh, yeah, we can get this big name on. We can. We will. We'll get a bunch of big names. But we need people who are here regularly, who support the show. They're members of the Wolfpack. They're true blue believers, man. Bona fide members of the Paleonauti. Bona fide members. Howlers, in fact, of the Wolfpack. So very, very, very happy about that. Jeremiah, speaking of the art of war, is there a Catholic book equivalent? I need a good Christian war book. Don't know if any exists. I'll add that. I told earlier on in the show why I didn't make the post yesterday. I don't have those same issues that are happening that we had to deal with it and we had to think stuff through. And I had to make some decisions. Those decisions are going to have to they're going to take time. Okay. So things that are going to be, fixing up the website, stuff like that. But in the meantime, I got to keep posting stuff. And I really do have to keep posting things to do with stuff that I for example, promised. I promised I would do, because there are, in fact, a bunch of books. There's some really, really excellent books. And there's one in particular, and I wish I had it on hand, like the name of it. It was written back in the early to mid 1900s. French guy. You can get English copies of this. I have it. I'll go and I'll find it because I forget the name. It might just be called Catholic Action, but it's old school, right? So we're not talking kind of the way that evolved over time. We're talking about the original ideas regarding activism, regarding the art of war. Now this would have to be updated. And I would love to take part in some kind of a collaboration with people to write about something like that, talking about the art of war in the art of modern information warfare, because you have to factor in technological advances. And I think, but the problem is a lot of times people rely only on talking about technological advances. There's another one that's really good. It's outdated in some ways, but at the same time, I think that's valuable. In fact, that it is. I think that we need to have our art of warfare needs to be traditional in the sense that it builds on. It doesn't completely scrap old means of direct action and means of termite tactics. And one of those I've mentioned before is I don't believe there's anyone Catholic in this. It's purely Protestant. But it was something that was put together and edited by Dr. Gary North, and it's called I think it's called Tactics of Christian Resistance. You can actually read it online for free. He has a free books. I don't know if it's freebooks.com or what it is exactly, but if you look free books Gary North, if you look that up, you'll find a link, and you can find Tactics of Christian Resistance. If you want to read it online, you can download it. Everything else, I have an actual printed copy of it. They go pretty cheap. So, oh man. All right. Let's see here. Oh, Adam's defending himself. Oh, yeah, we'd been out there a couple of hours, but I had to get to the shop. There are videos of you out there. I don't know if I believe it, man. I don't know if I believe it, Adam. I think you're tricking us, bro. I think you're tricking us, dude. Oh, Bethany, she's on it too. We were in the car for a couple minutes. Only a couple minutes. Adam was yapping on the phone. Of course, we froze with them for a couple hours. I don't know if I believe that. I think you guys were in that igloo, keeping toasty and warm. You got to have evidence, man. I need proof. Send it to me on Facebook. Got to do it. All right. Bethany said, I believe you just started again last night. I haven't watched yet, though. Thank you, brother. You're too kind. Oh, Clay. Yeah. I'm just one cog in the wheel, brother. Appreciate the shout out, sir. We stand as one. Keep up the great work. Bald Eagle here loves you, brother. Dude, you are the man. You are the man, dude. Yeah, the Hawk and Mrs. Eagle, or the what is it? The Hawk and Mrs. Hawk? I thought it was the Eagle and Hawk. Yeah, he says the Hawk and Mrs. Hawk. Yeah, two of my favorite peeps. Okay. Oh, you're talking something else, man. What's the name of your show, by the way? What's the name? I always get it confused, man. What's the name of that show? You guys have cool shirts too. I saw it at the pop-up rally. You guys have some really amazing shirts. And by the way, man, we have an awesome wolf pack. You know, we have people that we are allied with, you know, people that we arm in arm fighting in this. We've got people like that, man, that do awesome stuff. People who have podcasts, people who write articles, people who organize rallies, you know, people who are out there sharing posts. They may not be the kind of person that feels comfortable at a microphone, but they're really good at making sure that those who are get amplified on social media, you know? And so we're grateful. We have an amazing group of people. It's absolutely amazing. Speaking of, it's kind of interesting, and can you guys confirm this? Apparently it says, and this is November 29th, while attention was diverted, it appears John Kerry flew OYMS-1 SN9032 from Cape Verde to Falkland Islands to Antarctica on the 27th of November. Was he there for a meeting with Soros' son? Why is Kerry in Antarctica so frequently? It's a good question, because if we remember, he went there after the 2016 election also. It's crazy. In fact, didn't he go on the day of the inauguration? Didn't he go to Antarctica? Why? What's down there? Why him? Why is he going down there? It's a joke, dude. It's a joke. And by the way, talking Captain, Skull and Bones, man. We're talking Captain Skull and Bones. Attorney Lynn Wood says President Trump should take action to correct controversial election results. It's a press release from We the People. And he wasn't the only one. You know who else shared this? General Flynn. But I want you guys to think about this for a second. I want you to think, okay? What it is this, okay? The We the People convention calls for President Trump to invoke limited martial law to hold a new election. In full-page Washington Times ad, if legislators, courts, and Congress do not follow the Constitution. Think about it. I know it's easy to say. You know, I know people. I know people, they get really excited about it. They get really excited about it. You know, and they're like, you know, it's time for war. And they don't understand what that means. They don't understand what that means. I'm not one of those guys that's hyping up a war. I know people will say, well, dude, you sure kind of sound like it. I'm like, no, I'm refusing to be oblivious to what's happening around me. I refuse to play that game. Because the truth is, we're at a time right now where it's a flashpoint. Look at the way the institutions have settled in their partisan bubbles. And they're not just settled in it. They loathe the other side. And throughout time, I mean, there's always been antagonism. There's always been that kind of thing. But you're at a place now where the world and life views of these different groups, their ideas of who we are, where we came from, what we ought to do, where we are going in time and space, are so dramatically different. So dramatically different. And conveniently, you know, conveniently for the recipe, they've fit into a situation where both of them have gotten so far that one side says, this is what God says. Take, for example, my side. My side says, this is what God says. This is who we are. This is what we ought to do. This is what sin is. This is the penalty for sin. This is what justice is. This is what injustice is. And we say that, and we say we have a destiny. We have a purpose in time. And then you have the left, which in the past used to at least have an overlap. It was like a Venn diagram. And it was actually pretty decent size on certain core issues that hold people together, or at least allow you to work arm in arm even when you disagree. Not anymore. Because the left, to be quite frank, has embraced certain ideas about what's a man, what's a woman, what's marriage, what are humans, what is right, what is socially just, what is culture, what's tradition, what ought to be preserved, what ought we to tinker with, what's gender, what's sex, when should you start? And they've taken positions that aren't just a little bit different. In fact, they're antithetical. They've taken positions that are antithetical. And they're the ones that evolved. You say, look, if you hold on to tradition and you hold on to something and say, these are the answers that are passed down, the wisdom of the ages, sages throughout all ages that have given us truth, have given us and preserved it, defended it with their own lives, broadened it, broadened the scope throughout time. And to sit there and say, we build upon that. These are a foundation. And you're trying to rip up the foundation. You're trying to pull up the roots. You're not just trying to clip the fruit on the tree. We're not just talking about pruning branches here. We're talking about uplifting roots all the way. It's what they've done. They don't want anything to do with it anymore. In fact, they loathe it. They use some of the worst language and descriptors for it. Because the truth is, they have taken the side of the devil. Look at the way that they tolerate the satanic religion. Look at how they tolerate it. Look at how they're even unable to understand the darkness that's blinding them. They're so blind and so lost, they don't even understand. A lot of them will say, well, I don't believe in all that stuff. But boy, we have a lot in common with them. That's weird. That's weird. The same people who want to go ahead and tell churches they're not allowed to have church. Think of the audacity of that, by the way. Think of the audacity of that. And when they say, we need to fix the problem, they're refusing because their worldview, and this is a given. This is where you guys got to say, look, this is an evidence of what we're saying. That they're not even factoring into it. That it is because people have stopped going to church. and because people have stopped believing in God and obeying his word and holding fast to those traditions, that in fact we are where we are right now. God is a God of covenant. And we can look at it and say, look, he makes promises to those who obey the rules of the covenant, to those who live it out with a contrite heart. He makes promises to bless them. And he makes promises to nations that violate this law, that you're going to get what's coming. And people are going to say, well, are you saying God himself is doing that? And you say, no, look at the way that people do it to themselves. Look at the blindness that people inflict upon themselves. The destruction. And not just of themselves, but of the cultures wherein they live and move and have their being. You can see it. And you're right there. Yeah, General Flynn, same exact thing. Same exact thing. And Donald Trump ain't playing around anymore, guys. He should have done this kind of thing really early on. And that is a criticism I have. He should have done that really early on. But he did not. And I think, part of it might be that, to remain presidential, to be incremental. But he was really bad at hiring people. It's hard when you've got a bureaucracy that size. But you have to have better people who are the gatekeepers of that. And I think that was actually a problem. But here he is, Section 230, which is a liability shielding gift from the U.S. to big tech. By the way, the only companies in America that even have it, and he's right, it's corporate welfare, is a serious threat to our national security and election integrity. Our country can never be safe and secure if we allow it to stand. It's true because they are central to this great reset. They're central to it. He says, therefore, if the very dangerous and unfair Section 230 is not completely terminated as part of the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, I will be forced to unequivocally veto the bill. When sent to the very beautiful Resolute desk, take back America now. Thank you. There's the COVID stuff. We'll show a couple of these. Just a couple, because there's mass hypocrisy, and people are looking at it. And they're saying, dude, with all this talk about the Great Reset, with all this talk about how COVID is being manipulated and used from the very beginning, even the mainstream media now talking about how they've got documents that verify what everybody else has been saying, which we verified by other means. You can verify by other means. It's like what Dr. Shiva was talking about. Probability, stuff like that. Flu is low this year. And tell me, guys, have you actually seen somebody? Have you seen somebody that does this? And that says this sort of thing? Let's see here. Oh, and by the way, yeah, Clay, just so that I don't forget. Clay specifically said the show is the Bald Eagle's Nest podcast. And it's on the VoteFraudUSA2020.com site. See you there, brothers and sisters. Yeah, man, see you there, buddy. I get the emails from there. Buddy. All right. But have you guys had this? Do you guys have people who talk this way? Flu is low this year, because we talk about the idea that the flu is, in fact, low. And that it's mysteriously low. It's almost as if it's disappeared. There's no more flu anymore. Are they even keeping numbers right now? Or is it so low that to show the numbers, it'd be like, this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. How did the flu just disappear? And it's the statistical comparison. It's like, well, it's kind of like a bad flu year, isn't it? But you got this idea. Flu is low this year because everyone is wearing masks and social distancing. Have you guys heard that? So then the person asks, well, then why is COVID so bad? And the answer, because no one is wearing masks or social. Oh, what? And then look at the face. Angry face. You got me. But you know what? They'll keep going. They'll keep going. Because from the beginning of the show, we talked about the cultic nature of wokeness. We talked about it. We explained how it's cultic, why it's cultic, and how difficult it is when you're involved in something that's cultic like that, that's all-encompassing. When you believe that kind of thing and you get called out on it, it's easy to be like, well, to get mad and to blame and to shift it, maybe to move the goalposts and say, oh, well, answer, riddle me this. And if they do again, then you move the goalpost again. Well, riddle me this. And if finally they do, and they can't, let's say they can't riddle you that on, you keep moving the goalpost, moving the goalpost, moving the goalpost, and finally you find something that they're stuck on and that they can't actually answer, then all of a sudden, magically, people will forget, almost as if you've hit delete on all of the times that the person nailed the goal, where the person had an answer. And you find and you go, well, look at that, ha ha ha. And then you just keep rolling along as if that person never just owned you. But we say it here, we say you got to pick your poison. And one of the things that we teach here is say, when you're debating people, when you're debating them, you need to refuse to play that game. You need to recognize the tactic that's being done. When somebody moves the goalpost like that, and they say, well, riddle Mr. COVID questioning guy, and you give the answer to it. If they all of a sudden be like, well, what about that? And they do that, you need to go back and you need to make very clear that you aren't moving forward until you put your flag in that and say, that is mine, and you will not forget it. We're writing it down, maybe even. You didn't have an answer for this. I blew it out of the water. This is a perfect example. Especially because flu, talking about relative size and scale of flu and COVID, it would be more difficult, in fact, right? You would have the flu, you would say, man, kind of a weird thing, like the idea of it getting through the mask. And saying like, but only by degree. And again, what that would do would be to open up the discussion regarding the size of that. So if they bring up the size and say, well, it's harder, because they might try to fight back and say, well, it's harder because the size of the virus itself. The size of the virus itself is a little bit bigger. And you go, oh, so that the relative size and scale of the virus and the pores of the mask, and which is going to be dependent on what kind of fabric you're using for the mask, that's really important. And if the answer is yes, then you just roll down that road and say, dude, this is an easy one. Like I said, use the example of Lana Del Rey. Use the example of wearing a mask with big honking holes in it. And if they say, well, you can't do that, you say, why? Because believe it or not, the size of the pores matter. And doctors know this, by the way. Doctors know this. But don't let people do that, especially when you're dealing with a cultist. In the comments, God gave us all a purpose, a reason and individual strength via free will. The Jesus I was taught to pray to spoke to stand against the tyranny, yet love each other, even when they wrong you. To which, that's how I roll. Yeah. Says Jeremiah, amazing, isn't it, how COVID cured single-handedly? The flu, pink eye, chicken pox. Heck, it even cured cancer. COVID is and always be a plandemic. Government knew exactly what it was doing since 1967.
When it comes to masks,
okay, well, right here, don't listen to me explain the masks. Let's listen to this guy. Let's listen to him talk about it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to let you listen to this. It's a minute and a half long. I'm going to step out for a second, and we're going to keep rolling, guys. Got about 15, 20, 25 minutes max. Here we go.
Tunes.
Totally. He breaks it down nice and easy. But people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that, which is why the rhetoric is ramped up, man. You start doing that, like you're going to have that guy, like the dude yesterday. The dude I mentioned in the comment sections on YouTube that wrote that thing saying that I was basically intentionally spreading misinformation because I wanted to increase the death count. Just think of that accusation, by the way. Wow. Yeah, so it's like, well, he could, there's like a wide spectrum of a range of intentions, right? And what you're doing. Are you misled? Is the person honest but mistaken? Is that person committed to something and mistaken, right? That they may not be the most honest person in the world or innocent person in the world, but they're also not this, crazy maniac that's going out there and telling people to drink a bunch of poison to cure themselves, knowing that it's poison. I mean, there's like a wide range of this stuff. And it's charitable to grant that. Totally charitable to grant it. And yet they don't. What they do. And it's crazy because the same people who don't grant that kind of charity are people like this. Governor Cuomo. Here he is. Wow. Cuomo privilege when New York State mandates don't apply to you. Yeah, check it out. So here he is. Here he is. Look at this. Walking around without a mask. Getting really close to people's face. Giving huggy wuggies. Doing that. Well, ain't that sweet? Ain't that cute, Buster Brown? And people have had it, man. People have had it. They're ticked off like this guy. This guy's mad, man. Here's 25 seconds of this.
They also don't have to answer why they get to draw a $225,000 salary for Governor Cuomo, and for polling cars, $103,000 salary, but the working man and woman doesn't get to earn. They get to take our money, but we don't get to earn.
That's happening in California. I told you guys about my dad. His company, man, like there's so many restrictions, it makes it practically impossible for him to do anything. And yet they still got to keep paying. They still got to keep paying, man, or the repo man shows up. And I warned, man, didn't I warn guys? Didn't I say from the beginning that these politicians, they need to be very, very cautious about this? Because they're on a dime, and that dime is ours. And they keep taking in that money. They keep taking in that money. They keep living these luxurious lifestyles. Homes surrounded by walls and by fences. Refrigerators filled with food and sweets. And yet they're telling everybody, you aren't allowed. You aren't allowed. You're not allowed to go make that money. While they continue raking it in. And not just from the money that they get from taxpayers, but all the perks they get because of that. You ever wondered how they have such immaculate mansions all the time? You ever wondered that? How is it that, oh, you're paid $100,000? I get it. You would have a nice home. I've been in those areas. I live in one now. I live in an area of town where a block up the road, you're in fortified home country, right? Stone and brick castles. Go 4 blocks up the road, you are really into $1 million homes. I know what that's like. And I know what it takes for people to have that. So I can imagine and say, well, how did you get from the brick and the stone homes over here to all of a sudden to the castles and the mansions 4 blocks up the road? How'd you do that? On the salary that the people in the other houses are living. Oh, that's weird because you only make this much, but if you look at your net worth, you're worth a fortune. How's that? Oh, because of your political connections. It's obvious as day. It's obvious as day. And yet they're telling people, and some individuals are having, and they're saying, look, you can't tell me I can't do what I do. Otherwise, if that's the case, then you know what? All my hopes, all my dreams, all the sacrifices that I've made for me and for my family, all of them are gone. I'm going to be in a soup kitchen line. And you want to know who's not going to be in the soup kitchen line? Governor Cuomo. The evil empress in Michigan. The evil dictator in California. They're not going to be there. Dr. Fauci is not going to be in that line. Dr. Fauci's not. But every day, Johnny Q and Sally Sue's, you guys, the people who tune into stuff like this, you will. Imagine holding your child's hand. Maybe you're already there now. Maybe you've lost so much money already that you're at a place where maybe you had a business and that business is simply gone. It's like a figment of an imagination. It's gone forever. And maybe you're sitting there now and you're having to get in line for food. The humiliation of this. The sadness of it. The despair. The loneliness of it. The feeling that you've invested all of that time and all of that energy, and that you've been told by elites that are raging hypocrites day in and day out, that you've been told that you are not allowed to open. Well, you know what? More and more people are doing this.
They don't have the guts to tell us that. That's the worst kind of leadership.
Your story's getting a lot of attention. We thank you for your service.
Look at that.
We'll continue to watch where this story goes. Thanks for joining us tonight.
They also don't have...
Yes. And you're seeing this. Customers line up outside Portage Restaurant offering dine-in services, defying order. Yes. Yes, they are. Because they've had it. because they've had it, because they see stuff like this. Busted. San Fran mayor had her own French laundry party with socialite the night after Newsom's, then banned indoor dining in San Francisco 3 days later. Raging hypocrites, man. Raging hypocrites, man. Elitists. It doesn't apply to them. It's like insider trading. They said that they know what's coming. So what do? They get it out of the way. And then they force it down your throat. While they sit there like Ellen DeGenerate in her house feeling like she's in prison. A massive mansion. Look, you can, but that proves a point. I don't want to dog that too much. And simply say, even when you have something like that, it's not the funnest thing in the world. You're still isolated and cut off from everybody in the world. Imagine if you didn't have such amenities. It's hard for them to imagine. It's hard for them to understand. Or this, San Jose mayor apologizes after getting caught gathering with his family for Thanksgiving in defiance of the California COVID order. Oh yeah, Silicon Valley strong. Screw you, man. I almost flipped the guy off. I'm sorry about that. I can't blur it out in real time, man, but dude, I want to give you the finger, homie. You're a sack of crap. You're a piece of crap. This is uncanny. So what did he do? Oh, he goes to it. I apologize for my decision to gather for Thanksgiving with my family. Contrary to the rules, I understand my obligation as a public official to provide exemplary compliance with public health orders and not to ignore them. I commit to do better. My statement. Isn't that convenient, bro? Isn't that convenient? Look, I'm grateful God forgives. And we've got to forgive, right? But we're on the side of something that says, you have completely betrayed my trust. I don't buy that for a second. I don't buy that for a second. Sam Liccardo. Acting like El Retardo. It's garbage, bro. You are garbage. You are a hot, stinking heap of trash. Make these people really uncomfortable, man. Don't ever let down on them. Never let down on them. You let them know. You let them know day in and day out. Every single post they've got, you go and you post and you tell them to remind them and say, we'll see you at the ballot box. You're done. Your days here are over, son. Dr. Jonathan Gemmell says, hey, from New Zealand. Dude, hey, by the way. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad you're tuned in, by the way. One of the commenters says they know this man from Pennsylvania. Met him during the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania gridlock-esque rally they had back in April. He's a hero. Hey, again, man, connected people. Let's see, they apologize, politicians, all hypocritical garbage, all they ever were, all they ever will be. Yes, king idiot, by the way, totally, man, totally. It gets worse, LA supervisor, Sheila Kuhl, dines at outdoor restaurant after voting to ban outdoor dining. Oh, and it's just hours after she voted to ban all outdoor dining last Tuesday, which she described as, quote, a most dangerous situation. We've learned that she dined outdoors at Il Forno Trattoria in Santa Monica. Oh, isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet? Ain't that cute? It's as predictable as the morning sun. And look at this lying sack of crap. This Thanksgiving, I am most grateful for socially distanced celebrations and everyone making sacrifices to slow the spread in the spirit of compassion for others. Even as you stay safe, I know you can have a happy Thanksgiving. Here's the thing. She says, even as you even as you. Why? Because it doesn't apply to her. It doesn't apply to her. She's a special exception. She's riding the short bus. That's what she's doing. She's a special exception. Each one of these people, special exceptions, over and over and over and over again. Yeah, we'll talk about that one tomorrow. We're going to go through these. Because these are the same special exceptions that believe this kind of crap. Here is the fake Nevada parking garage hospital picture that our moron governor tweeted, proving it's all a scam. No patients, folded up beds, wrapped up equipment that's never been used. They spent millions of dollars on this scam and never seen a single patient in this fake hospital. Look at that, by the way. Look at that. That's like a person who's making a video and, or one of those pictures like, I'm sorry, ladies, to throw you under the bus on this. I'm sorry to do it, but it's mainly the ladies, man. I see a lot of these ladies taking pictures and they're all like, oh, check out this sexy pic from my side or whatever, and or from the top. They always get that, the cleavage angle and stuff. And so they're taking all these pictures of themselves and they're sharing it all over the place as if, 9,000 selfies weren't enough. And then they share ones that are from the bathroom. And maybe the toilet lid is up and there's a dump still in there. It didn't flush right. A floater. or they're sitting there trying to look sexy and they got trash, a big trash bin, and trash is like tumbling out of it. And then people point it out and they're like, oh, dang, I was so busy looking and thinking about myself that I didn't even notice that I had trash and Duke all over the place. Same thing with this guy. Oh man, we're really worn down here, guys. Remember what was the hashtag that was going around about? Was it record your hospital? What was that? Where social media, they made sure, man, you post that, you're going to get in trouble. Because place after place was going to these hospitals and showing how empty they were. I've asked nurses and doctors at hospitals, look, when my daughter had cancer, we were there all the time, right? She passed away 4 years ago. But the thing is, we practically lived at this children's hospital. I mean, when you're dealing with a really rare and aggressive kind of childhood cancer that, it takes most of the lives. I mean, it was barely, I think it was single digits or barely double digit probability that she would live for 5 years. I mean, that's how low it is. I mean, it's bad. And so we lived at this hospital. We were there all the time, tests and chemo and radiation and therapy. So we were there all the time. And the place was packed. We're in Grand Rapids, second largest city in Michigan. And we were there, second most populated. So we're sitting there, and, it's always bumping, always tons of people. And now the place is like a ghost town. It's a ghost town. So I asked her, how do you even survive as an institution? I mean, this is a massive complex. You have doctors you got to pay. How are you even surviving? She said, I've kind of wondered that too. We'll talk about those things tomorrow. Talk about that tomorrow. Okay. All right. Okay. We've got, that's all that stuff. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So we'll do this. This is the last one. And I would normally put this in the funny file. But I kind of want to wrap it up on something that's actually a positive note. I want to wrap it up on something that's a positive note because it's easy to point out the grotesque hypocrisy. That's easy. It comes in, bushels and dollies that are even bigger, amazingly so. Well, maybe equal in size to the ones carrying ballots for Biden fraudulently. So, and that's a lot, man. That's an awful lot. So you can find it. It's easy to show the goons and the goblins and the ghouls that every single day are just foaming at the mouth, the death cult, foaming at the mouth, trying to scare you to go back inside, to go back home, to hide from your neighbors, to hide from your church, to hide from all of those things in your life that make you better, that make you the best you that you've ever been. And in all likelihood, by the numbers, the probability of that happening during the last 4 years under President Donald Trump, highly probable. Highly probable. By the numbers, man. By the numbers. But it's hard in times like these. It's as hard as it is essential that we begin to look at ways that we can break free, in ways that we can fight back. And there are two ways. So I'll do both of these. There are two ways. And the ways are like this. Number one, church was essentially a bush, looks unrecognizable after dramatic transformation. The Friends of Friendless Churches charity has spent the last 4 years restoring St. Denis in East Hatley back to its former glory, showcasing some of its earliest surviving medieval features. But the renovation is not complete. Now, why would I show this? Okay. I mean, for one, it looks kind of crazy. I mean, if you think about it. It looks kind of crazy. It looks like there's no way that that's ever going to be put to use again. And especially not overnight. If you want to bring this thing back to life, if you want to make sure that this church where life and where song and where happiness, where conversion, where sacraments and sanctification take place, where you are educated and discipled in order to be sent out to create disciples, to baptize nations. If you want to bring this back to life, somehow it's going to take huge amounts of effort. But we believe in action, don't we? We aren't all talk. We aren't all talk. We're not these member-buried nostalgia folks that just sit there and say, well, wasn't it great? No, we're the people that go out and try to make these things happen. We're the unspoken heroes, by the way. The saints of history who don't make the books. And look at what they've done. Look at it now. It was hard work. What did they say? It took 4 years. Took 4 years. And what did they do? They preserved so much of the inside. Look at it. Look at it. And realize that this is kind of iconic in a way. Symbolic. You can see our current crisis within that original picture. Something that's beautiful, but it's being completely surrounded, engulfed, taken over, in fact. And it took the hard work of godly men and women to do this. And not to go in and wreck it and tear it down and build some modern complex that looks like garbage, that looks like a Taco Bell or a Wendy's or a Starbucks or a big arena, but instead to preserve the past, to realize what was important, what was valuable, what was beautiful, what was true. It's symbolic. And it's what we need to do. It's what we need to do. And these are practical ways. These are practical things that we can do. Talking about protesting election fraud. And I would say we need to begin to put together practical means. Practical means. What are things that you can do? Because I know a lot of people, they get really mad, they get really pumped up, and they say, okay, you say that we can rebuild this. You say that we can make this thing come back to life again. That it's not all lost. And you have to realize, first and foremost, this is not done entirely by your hands, but by your hands that have been inspired and empowered by God. But there are basic, simple things that we can do. It's not always something that's so big and out of reach that it's deflating. Here's some easy ones. This is chroniclesmagazine.org. Who wrote this? Jeff Minnick. He said, we can strike back at those who contribute to this disaster, who've shown contempt for our country and for us. I like that, by the way. I like the way that he said that. Who have smeared us as deplorables, racists, and Nazis, and who have sought to undermine this election by any means possible. I'm starting to wonder if this dude listens to the show. I'm starting to wonder. Look at this, man. We need to have this guy on. Yeah. He's preaching. He's good. He said, let's start with Facebook and Twitter. Just days before the election, Facebook shut down intellectual takeout. Other conservative sites have suffered the same fate. Between Thanksgiving and New Year's, let's boycott it. That or boldly use the platform to call attention to wrongs committed in this election. I think the latter would be more realistic. To overwhelm them with positive things. But we have to understand that it's simply a tool. And it may be a tool that we don't want to use for much longer. And don't get gobbled up by, well, I'm also going to be sharing, scrolling through, wasting my time, scrolling through. You're done with that, man. You're done with that, lady. You got to do it. Let's do the same thing to the news outlets that make no attempt to hide their contempt for us and for President Trump. NPR, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, and especially Fox News. Especially. Abandon all of them. I've said that. There's no need to even watch it anymore. And look, do not put all of your hopes. I'm warning you now. Do not put all of your hopes in the next emerging network. Be careful. You have to understand how these institutions operate. If we all say, well, we're all going to go over to Newsmax. Number one, there was a situation not long ago. Somebody brought up, was it Soros? Brought up the Israel lobby or something like that. Next thing you know, oh, man, look at that. We lost out on that. So I mean, they've got their own thing because there's still commercial operations that are dependent on commercial advertisement. And we've talked about the idea of the movie, The Corporation. People may not agree entirely with everything in that movie, but the part about, and I think it was Fox, the part about Fox is totally true. And people can see it now. It's not just with movies like Outfoxed, which was good in some ways, but it also gave a false impression that that's unique to Fox. People can go to Project Veritas right now and see how that exact same thing happens at CNN. They released it last night, by the way. Same thing with professional sports and political correctness. They take a knee, we take a hike. And after we're done taking a hike, we take a knee for Jesus Christ. Should the theaters reopen? Let's stay away from Hollywood films with bigoted political agendas and movies that are damaging our culture. From Thanksgiving to New Year, let's quit supporting corporations who back leftist causes. There's an example of 18 corporations, 18, that gave hefty sums of money to radical Black Lives Matter. Here's a list of organizations whose employees donated big money to support respective candidates' presidential campaigns. Read the article. You might, in fact, be astounded. For those readers who practice a religious faith, our Thanksgiving to New Year's trek can be a time for fasting and prayer. I love this, man. This dude's dope. This dude is dope. We need him. Bro, I love you, man. I don't even know you. I support you, dude. I support you. We are brothers from another mother. It's what it is. You're speaking my language, man. Because at the end of the day, we can do all those things, but if we don't realize that the core of it all is in the heart and in the soul, if we don't understand that the heart of it all is the fact that we're taking a knee for Jesus Christ, and when we stand, we rise only to ensure that everything that we say and do, all of our thoughts and imaginations, and all of those things that we advance within this world, that all of those are subject to Christ the King. Because in the end, he said we must boycott despair. That is, wow, man. I am grateful. And yeah, these are the 18 corporations. DoorDash, Deckers, Amazon, Gatorade, Microsoft, Glossier, 23andMe, Airbnb, Unilever, Bungle, Nabisco, Dropbox, Fitbit, Developer Digital, Skillshare, Square Enix, The Game Company, and Tinder, which you should definitely be not doing that anyway. But you can look and you can see practical ways. And look, it might make it hard. That's the whole point. But I promise you, it's a sacrifice that's worth it. It's a sacrifice that's worth it. And you may realize not only that you are, having a lot more time than you were when you were skimming through everything every single day, scrolling along. But more than that, or paying out money to these big groups, but in small ways that you're just simply letting that company know, even in a small way, that you don't support it. My priest did that when it came to the Dollar Beer Club. Or Dollar Shave Club, Dollar Beer Club. He wrote an open letter to him. Because things that they had said and things that they had sent. All right, guys. By the way, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I want to thank everybody. And let me go ahead and get back to the main here. Let me get back to the main because we are going to close out. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm really grateful every single day from 10-ish to 1-ish. I don't want people to get in the habit, though, of thinking that, well, he's going to be on at 10:15 or 10:30, which has happened. Or he's going to go until 1:45 or 2 o'clock. Now, I don't want you to think that because we will eventually be getting back to a more strict and appropriate time. I assure you. But I wanted to remind everybody, the people who've wanted to have the reading, the book list for me, right? What books do I suggest on culture and on social theory, political economy, geopolitics, that sort of thing. I'll even just put it together with some theology ones, and I'll start off like it may not necessarily be the top ones, but they're ones that I think would be a good assortment. And I may even include some that are there's analyses, right? There's people who've done analysis on various different books that are really important. Okay, so ideas about civilizational models and things like that, even New World Order stuff and like how to better understand them and what their plans and schemes are. Some of that's behind a paywall, but I'll try to find the ones that are not so that you can get a good idea for what that is, as well as an idea for some of the people that I like to listen to online. Because we have to be educated about this. And I'm so glad that so many of you who tune in that you have a typographical mind. You enjoy watching, you enjoy listening, but at the end of the day, you're saying, look, put a book in my hands, brother. I want to learn too. I want to know this stuff. I want to be able to read the writing on this wall. And not just intuitively, but really clearly. I want to do it. And, so I want to be able to equip you guys too, to do my part in helping to equip. It's a broad task. But to do my part in helping to equip you to be the most informed and the most disciplined person, the best you can possibly be in dealing with these are terrible times. These tumultuous times. So we're going to do that. Yeah. Lastly here, let's see here. Viola Stevens, it is nice to see you. I know you, and it's nice to see you. I'm glad. You made me smile. You made me smile, woman. Here we go. Dr. Jonathan Gemmel, great show. We'll catch up on the rest of the show that you missed later on. Yeah, really glad to hear that. Really, really, really glad to hear that. So I'm super excited about all of you guys. All right, here's the end. We're going to make sure. And I love it. I love getting pumped up. You guys inspire me. You make me the best me I can possibly be. Every single day, 10 to 1. You can find out more by going to paleocratdiaries.com for interviews, speeches, all other inquiries. Paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Make sure, of course, to check out Paleo Cheese Podcast. I think we had a new episode that had to be re-uploaded. It's okay. That happens from time to time. Sometimes you make a mistake. There's a glitch. Or the audio doesn't work. And so you got to make sure, re-upload it. Make sure, of course, Paleo Cheese Podcast on YouTube, on Spotify, all over the place. Acast, you name it. We're there. And of course, Menio Catholic, I got to get back on that show. I got to beat down Tim Flanders' door. I'm going to have to anyway because we're going to have a lot of people coming in for interviews. And if you'd like to be one of those or have a suggestion, email me, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. And until next time, never give up. Keep on smiling and memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you
are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.